What's up, everybody? This is the poker coaching study session. Today, we're going to be looking at
how to play against a maniac and maybe how to play against someone who's on winner's tilt. That's what's going to go on here. All right. So all cards face up. We start with pocket queens, and we're also going to go through the hands a little faster than we normally do because we want to get through a bunch of them. But as we look at this, ace five and the hijack should be folding, but if somebody raised here, it wouldn't be terrible. The 5-5 should absolutely raise, and I should 3-bet. Let's see what happens. So he limps. That's the first mistake. With that, the 5-5 raises, and I can raise over the top of him easy. I guess my size should be about 18 to 20, something in that range. I go 16. Doesn't seem an egregious mistake. And they all fold. Okay. Great. Next hand, this is yours.
All right. Well, we should get to the king 10 here. King 10 should open, and queen 3 suited big blind should be a defend, I think. Suited queens there from the button.
Yeah, absolutely. But
And
instead,
we get limp. All right. Well, king 10 becomes a fantastic ISO. So, and hero is going to make it 450.
yeah.
Now queen 3 should fold.
Yeah.
Pretty sure queen 3 should fold. Now, do we ever get any exploitative calls if we know that low jack is a fish? Probably not queen 3. I'm thinking that's a little too wide.
He's out of position to two players. That's not that it's just
Yeah, no.
that just cuts down. Even if he has a skill edge on both of us, expressing it from out of position against two players is going to be really hard. All right.
So king 9 should fold. He doesn't. He calls. So we're going to go multi-way here. All right. So what should happen is, or what typically should happen is, big blind should check. King 9 should check. And now king 10 with the clubs, no diamonds, no spades. Interesting spot. I think they can bet and I think they can check. I think either or would probably be about the similar EV.
I bet, and I bet
Yep.
the standard DTO wizard size.
Yeah, kind of a B33 there.
Yep.
Queen 3, I believe, should call here. I don't think you want to fold top pair yet.
And I don't think he wants to check raise, not with a 3.
No. And king 9 without any real back doors, I think could possibly think about check raising, but he should fold now that he's
got
got
direct equity, but yeah.
And these multi-way spots, I'm a little like unsure of where we should be when we have like a gut shot here, but without any other backdoor qualities, I feel like he should just fold.
I do too.
Also, is one of his gutters is dirty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so are two of my open enders are dirty, but I have 6 others. He has 3 others. There we go.
And you have position.
Yep.
All right. Now our queen 3 should check still. King 9 check. Do we continue with king 10, the open ender here? This is a
I say no,
blank
not with 2
card.
calls.
I would think we could continue, and if we continue, I'm not sure what size we should go with, but I'm sure we can check. I'm sure checking is fine. I almost feel like we got the 2 callers back there. If it were me, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but I think I would probably check behind and just kind of try to realize some equity.
I against the 2 players, there can be some draws out there, but you got to figure one of them. Just odds are one of them's got a made hand, and that's not going to be fun to go against. And if in the size, DTO wizard size here is 27. Ouch. So I check to realize. Don't get there. He bets tiny, which is not DTO approved, but I can see why he does it. And it's just going to go fold. All right.
Hey, gents.
Larry.
What do you think about a bluff here from Hero's position versus this kind of sort of the bet size equals hand strength sort of exploitation?
That would be a better player than me. That's not.
I see your point. There are
point.
sizing tiles here.
Yeah.
Um,
That just isn't a flush, right? We can just go, that's not a flush.
yeah. It would make him very uncomfortable. I
Mark
would
Jones could do
prefer to
it.
have one spade, and I would prefer not to be blocking draws around the straight.
Yeah.
But I think exploitatively there's room for it. I am not comfortable doing it multi-way, but I could see it done.
Yeah, although, note one thing, you're not multi-way anymore, but he's still bet
There,
into players. He's still bet
good
into two
point.
players.
Yes, yes.
I think you would be hard pressed to get it to work against his two pair here on this particular case.
Yeah.
You
But
gotta-
I think you're on the right path, Mike, around sizing Tal here. I'm not saying I know more. I am also trying to process this kind of sizing and what it means how
Yeah.
we can exploit. But I think I would say you and I are on the right path on this. We're beginning to think about this sizing relative to hand strength.
I think Mark Goons might find the raise here, and when he finds the raise here, it's going to be to 40,
Yeah, it'll be.
or it's gonna be all in.
It's going to be 2x plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gents, can I ask you a question? Since it's the three of us and I know we're recording.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys about a live angle I got hit with last night, I think, but we can do it after. We can do it now, whatever you would prefer. Or we can skip it.
Let's do it later, but let's
Okay.
definitely,
All right.
and it's Larry's hand. Here we go.
Okay, yeah, so this is gonna be complex because we've got a luck box poster, is what I see, right? We have a poster who luck boxed into aces. And so what I don't know how to post. If I were I never post, but if I posted here and I hit aces, I would raise.
Yep.
I would raise to 2. Yeah.
Okay, I'd raise to the standard 2.5, but okay.
Okay, so and no one should defend. 4-2, I think, is against his early position as a fold.
I think 4 deuce should defend because it's 2 big blinds and not 2.5.
That's valid.
I think that turns it into almost any two suited cards.
That's your
Right.
point.
But instead, we see this guy with 318 big blinds playing. Oh, and this guy was the king nine. There's no doubt he's folding, that he's calling. This was our open limp with the ace five, and then the open limp with the king nine. He's playing.
What so what do we have a filter today, or are we just playing a session?
We're playing a specific session against a specific player that's going to become clear soon.
Okay, got it. Okay, so we get a really horrible flat.
And then a really reasonable one.
Okay, fair. Is it multi-way? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think 4-3 is in. I think this is out. I think our reverse implied odds for villain 1 are significant.
All right, let's give it a try here. Just let's look at this one. All right, we are on change to pre-flop only 2. We get a hijack raised to 2. The hijack
flat
raised to
maybe?
2. With that, the 4 deuce is totally in there, right? Then we get a
Yeah.
flat from the small blind, and the flat from the small blind leaves the 4 deuce in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
it's
about a
just-
flat from button, which is gonna probably be more like.
Right, so now he's out of position to 2 players.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now we start losing some 3 deuce.
Okay,
You're still, it's
all right, what's the right?
2 is just such a small number. And you can always flop, a pair and a draw,
Yeah,
and a
that's,
backdoor, all those things, and
that's
lose all your
fair.
money.
You've
And
got a
you-
good point.
Yeah,
What
you
was
want
the
that.
rake structure that was on the?
This should be NL 100, which is what this game is at. This is
Okay,
this is a 100 game, by the way.
okay. All right, cool. So, all right, so I'm a nit. Okay, so check.
Right. But look at the difference. But just look at this. When you're talking your nit version, just go to 2.25 and it's gone. It's
Yeah.
that. It's that.
I think
that's how close it is.
I think I'm programmed on the 2-5 a lot.
Yeah, and on the 2.5, it's not even there against the single raise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not there. It's here.
And yeah, we're on the knife's edge of pre-flop.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but there you go. All right.
So this is an interesting spot. So what's our stack depth here? So we're like at, so we're full stacks here. 100 big blinds effective essentially. Multi-way. This is I don't think we slow play here. I think that we can use, I would use a small size here. I want to keep them wide and I think my equity's off the scales here. So I would bet like 2.5.
He fears the flush draw and wants maximum value from any hand that can call.
Yeah.
This isn't DTO wizard approved, but it's not crazy.
No, it's not. This is fun. This is another flip direction. This is another half on the beam tree.
Yeah.
So this 8 clearly is not folding if he's calling 6-8 hitting up there. He's out. I don't know what he's up to. He's drunk.
Yeah.
4-2 has a lot of options here. I think his reverse implied odds are just so, well, the way I would look beyond his runner steel wheel, his reverse implieds are significant, and so I would just call.
But never fold, because if this guy has an ace, he can't have a flush draw. So for this guy to have a flush draw, it has to be the king queen kind of open thing.
That's a
And
valid point.
And that's
Yeah.
a weird sizing for that, don't you think?
For a
King queen of diamonds.
why do you think?
If you're multi-way in position, so you're facing this.
Yeah.
You're facing the ace. You look at these guys and you go, they have an ace or they don't, right? A non-ace is going to fold to a small bet. Why am I sticking my neck out for pot size to get called by an ace when I have to get there? I don't think that I think this is a common size for an ace with no diamond, or in this case, 2 aces with no diamonds. I think this is an uncommon size for diamonds against 2 players.
Okay. That's valid.
So I'm downgrading my fear of diamonds.
So
I'm 4 deuce. I have a
Okay.
little bit of it. If all the money goes in, I have a little bit of it, but
so your size detail here is that I do not think his best flush draws go into this size.
right.
I do
Because
not think,
best
I
flush
think
draws kinda
humans
have-
are gonna use, if they're gonna bet this multi-way, they're gonna use small size.
half
Okay.
pot.
Okay,
kind of. Yeah,
fair.
all right.
So we're never folding, we're gonna call. Yeah, we don't prove, he usually doesn't improve. This is not equity shifting check. Okay, so he loves this card, I think.
Yeah.
And, he now has chosen the big sizing, so I think he continues.
Mhm.
He's got over bets here. He can go, B150.
Yeah.
I mean, he calls this is like, I think Peter Clark, big size, big hand versus big hand. Theory is getting into game here, and so he's got over bets.
Yeah.
He can really do anything he wants to.
I think any bet smaller than 15 is a large mistake. Hello, Melanie. And up to 150 or 150 is fine. And
Okay.
yep,
See
he just
that.
goes pot. This is probably pot after, this is probably exactly pot after the rake.
Sure. Okay, so it's interesting. This is the part I really enjoy. So this is a weird spot for this hand, right? So you don't have direct odds. Your implied odds are significantly reduced out of position.
Mm-hmm.
I frankly. Okay, cool. Mike's gonna show us Prometheus. I frankly. Let me see, 2-4. Maybe we call it the gutter. Because the gutter's the nuts. The gutter's the nuts
Yeah.
if it's not a diamond. So maybe we call it. But I'm indifferent here. What do you guys think? I think villain 1 is indifferent.
Alright, so villain one can easily give himself, he can confidently give himself 9 plus 3, 12 outs, and he can maybe give himself another 5.
With another 5, with a 4, or with a 2.
Yeah, they aren't good, as it turns out, but they often are,
Yeah.
you know? This can be ace king easily. I mean, yes, it can be ace 8. And it is
What's
ace
his
8.
equities? 18%, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have, the reason is because he doesn't even have 9 clean flush outs. The 6 of diamonds, and the 6 of diamonds is not an out.
Can I
anymore.
ask you guys an aside detour question here? Which is, I am thinking maybe using basic sizing is not ideal, because anybody with half a brain, especially this is NL 100, is going to be able to quickly assess their pot odds, because they're going to know pot is 33%.
Mm-hmm.
So my argument is that here a better sizing is 80%, which is not easily, it's not memorized for people, or B125, which is also not memorized for people. Because there are a lot of draws on here, and I want to make it more difficult for him to make a decision. So I don't want to give him a number where he can easily calculate pot odds and then understand his equity.
It's an interesting take.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
you
thinking about
can't be
that.
wrong, because the 125 and the 80 are still good bet sizes here.
You know,
So if you choose one, you can't be, I don't know if you're getting the advantage you want, but you're not giving up anything.
it's just someone is going to have to be better at math
Yeah.
than just memorizing pot and knowing pot
Yeah.
is 33%.
Yep.
Um,
Or comfortable enough to go 125 and 100. It's about the same. I need about 33. I'm fine.
yeah.
But okay.
Okay, so he calls. I think I'm indifferent here, frankly. What
Right.
would you guys, where are you with this? And in villain one for this size?
I think it's a call to be, I think I would call as well.
Okay, cool.
And then you got to think about, are you betting out on your diamond, or are you checking it?
Yeah. Scotty, how do you feel about 4-2?
Um, I'm very uncomfortable. I mean, he's made me uncomfortable and different, and I guess I'm gonna look at this and go, at best, I have 6, I give myself 17 outs. Let's see. I give myself 9 plus 3, 12 plus 5. Yeah. I give myself 17. That's 36. I need 33. And I've then got implied after it. I call.
Got it.
I call, and I don't bet out on a deuce. I do bet out on a diamond, and I don't bet out on the wait, wait a minute. We don't have a straight. We don't have a straight. Where's our backdoor straight? We don't have a backdoor straight.
No, you're right. I'm in a
No,
mistake.
we don't have a straight. Okay, I have 12. So I mean, so instead, so that's 3 less. I don't know what we were saying that. So I give myself 14. 14 is 28, 30. No, at 30 I fold. I think I fold this. I think he got me. All right. But there's that.
Ah,
and
so
I
go ahead.
and when I called, oh, it's your hand. It's your hand. So go.
I don't think this. I think this hand is. It's what, the second not low flush. Yeah. So I check call.
It's technically the nut low. Not second, because although deuce 3 would be worse, no one can have deuce 3. So it is technically the nut low,
I'm.
Flush.
Why can't someone have 3-2 diamond
because I have the deuce of diamonds
in the hand?
in the hand. That's right.
Oh,
When you're
okay.
looking
Oh,
this,
all right.
this becomes on this board. This is the nut low flush. No one can have a
Got
low.
it. Got it. Okay. I didn't remember you had the.
Yeah, if we had deuce 5, we'd have the second nut low.
Okay. So, all right. Yeah. I check call.
Okay. So you check, and he does not see it. He does not see that the guy could be it. This is an easy call.
What in the hell is he doing here? What? Okay, so villain 3 makes an error. This
Yeah.
is a blunder. This is a blunder. Look, can we go back to sizing on turn, please? Sizing on turn was pot.
Yeah.
What? He is not thinking about what kind of range is calling pot here.
Mm-hmm.
And he has no blockers to the nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is pure blunder.
Yeah.
Now you could argue he's making this because he's saying IDGAF. I don't want the difficult decision when he checks shoves. So I'm just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what I would do here, I hope I would do here is I would be 50 and adjust my headspace so to that I have to fold to the shove.
Yeah.
This is a fortune reversal card.
Yep.
What size would you guys use here if you were villain 3?
Yeah, probably like B60.
All right.
B50.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think you have to say in your head and fold to shove.
Yeah, I think I would bet I would be 50, say out loud, since this is online, I would be in my room, I would say out loud, and I'm gonna fold to a shove. Then when he shoves, I would call going, well, maybe it's ace king. But at least I give myself a chance to not make that mistake. There we go. And this may, and what we just saw, this hand may come into, may affect what's about to happen as we go forward. All right, Melanie, it is your hand. So turn your mic on. And I don't,
Okay,
and have you been to our sessions or just Louis? can't
no, this is the first time.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is, we get to see all the hands face up, so you're gonna just narrate the hand, saying what you think people should do and what you expect them to do when we go from there. So,
Okay. So, 10 tree off, that should be a fold. But he has 4 big blinds. So you expect me to say something about every?
no, you just a much. He should fold, and then if, you say, but since he just lost that giant hand, I wouldn't be surprised if he jammed,
Okay,
if he
okay,
just frustrated jammed. But let me go.
Okay, so I think that's probably still a fold.
Yep.
King 2 off is a fold. Check 9 off. I don't know, I wouldn't do it. But maybe this, well, at NL 100, do people still limp? I've never played NL 100.
There are some limpers. You're gonna see some.
Oh, okay.
This guy
Well,
here, this queen 9 has limped twice already.
okay, so like if villain 4 is a limper, maybe he limps, otherwise I expect a fold. King queen off, I expect a raise. Queen 9 I would fold after this raise. But okay.
Right, we've seen this about him now. So this is,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then check 7, that is a call.
Yep.
Okay. Since king queen, oh wait, where are we? Yeah, small blind. Queen 9, check. Jack 7 could be checking as well. Maybe, yeah, check. And then king queen of villain 5, pre-flop raiser, I expect a continuation. Bet small.
And if this were you here, would you bet here, or would you check behind?
No, I would probably check behind.
I think so too. I think it's the nothing. You have showdown.
Yeah. An 8. I mean, villain 1, I would expect them to check again.
If this was an aggressive player, he could bet because of his 9 if he wanted.
With the hopes of doing
With,
what?
with the hopes that nobody has an ace and is played, and he blocks 9-8.
Okay, got it.
So I'm
Okay.
saying an aggressive player could do this. I don't expect this guy to find that. I don't know if it's a good find, but I don't expect this guy to find it because,
The stats are only from this game.
yep, this is this game. We have
Okay,
four hands
okay.
on it.
Okay, four hands in. Okay, so let's not look at the three bet stat and stuff like that. Good. Then probably still a check from villain 1.
Mhm.
And then check 7. I don't know, it's not great either. Probably check.
Yep. For the same reason that villain 1 could have found a bet, Jack 7 could find a bet because he blocks 8-7. So that's a possibility.
Okay.
I don't expect him to find it.
Yeah, okay. He checks. Or they check. King, Queen has, I mean, also no real, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could, they're in position, maybe they try. It was
Yeah.
passive so far, so maybe I expect them to try something.
They could, but they're the one who has genuine showdown, so they don't have
Maybe
to.
as yeah. Oh, okay, checks. Maybe turn probe, I thought.
Right.
Okay. Well, villain 1, Queen 9. Check.
Yep.
Jack 7. I'll check.
Yeah. I think he should go for it now
Yeah.
because he also blocks he blocks the 8-7, he blocks the 6-7, and he can't win.
Okay. Yeah.
This seems like a good time to do it.
But
He
does
doesn't.
he? Oh, okay.
Nope.
Okay. So again, maybe that's a point where villain 5 wants to go for it.
Yeah. And now I'm going to make the same argument as villain 5 every time before. He beats everybody else's nothing.
Exactly.
So he's the one guy who can afford to do that.
Yeah. And he can assume that since everybody was check, 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 I mean, what are the odds that they do have something?
Yeah. I
So
mean, they might win with a pair of four. They might win with a pair of 6s or a pair of deuces or something. They could have deuces or 3s here and he loses, but
yeah.
but he's the one person who can win with no risk. He doesn't have to put any money in to win.
Yeah.
These guys do. Okay. Mike, you wanted to show Prometheus, right?
On the previous hand, yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of cleared it because I wanted to see how this one developed. But
Okay.
Prometheus doesn't do button, small blind, big blind. But if you wanted to check that other one out,
Yeah, let's go back to the other one.
yeah, go back to the board so I can see what it was again.
Right.
It was hijack, small blind, big blind.
Yeah.
Interesting. It doesn't allow you to do button, small blind, big blind.
Yeah.
So what was it? Ace of diamonds, 2 clubs.
Ace of diamonds, 2 of clubs, 8 of diamonds.
8 of diamonds. Okay. Share.
Turn 6 of spades.
We're just only going to be able to see the flop.
Okay.
All right. So small blind. Now this is the range that they're going to get here with.
Mm-hmm.
Small blind. Notice the amount of donking to this board. I find that kind of surprising.
So he
I'm kind of
donked
calling
in
this,
first position.
Yeah, small blind.
I'm kind of calling bullshit on this.
So this can't be the small blinds range. Where's all the suited stuff?
Like what?
This is the low jack range. This is not the small blinds range. This is the
No, we're sitting here looking at the small blinds
Yeah,
action
small-
now on the flop.
Yeah,
oh,
the
small
blind's
blind,
lit
not
up.
big blind. Small blind, right? Okay.
This, I am calling bullshit. This range does not make sense to allow this level of thought. I just can't. I can't process this.
Yeah, it surprises me too. right,
We're
so
talking about a 30%, a 36% B25 dunk on this texture,
Yeah.
including dunking all of your, it looks like it's dunking all of its. It's dunking is it dunking its flush draws? Like, can you roll over like king 10, king 9? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not comfortable with this recommendation.
Well, certainly we know DTO Wizard doesn't do this.
Yeah, this feels like we're getting into some kind of fantasy land.
Although DTO Wizard doesn't have this configuration.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have any.
Right, so it doesn't even have this lineup, so we can ignore the DTO stuff. Okay. All
We
right,
would
that's
need- We
fascinating.
would need to fact check this. I think if we're going to, if anybody here's gonna invest in this, I think the answer is the first thing to do is to get a trial of simple three-way
Mhm.
and just fact check some of these spots.
Okay. And then, so when he checks,
So he checks
right,
66% of the time. Big blind checks range.
right,
And here is hijack.
and his aces can go up to 66%. He doesn't have a pot
Yeah,
size bet,
the big size is 66%,
right,
and the small size they use is B25.
right,
And his hand, his aces, bets 100%.
Yeah.
And mostly the B25.
but our guy goes pot, so let's give him a 66. Our small blind folds,
Yep, folds 63% of his range.
Yeah.
This is calling all top pairs.
Yep.
And flush draws, basically.
Yeah.
Some 8X here. So,
Hopeful.
what's that?
hopeful that the 8-7, the 8-7 and 8-9 that he calls, that's with a lot of hope.
Here is big blind. And the 4 deuce. Calling or raising.
Yep, mostly calls and often raises. And his raise size is
66, B66.
That's pot, right? So that's like.
Yeah.
You guys know what the 21C is? Is that?
21
size?
chips.
Oh, yeah.
No. No, that isn't what it is. That isn't what it is. Because the fold is 393 combos.
Well, yeah, combo. What? Oh, yeah, okay. So
Oops.
when you click raise 66% here,
Yeah.
it'll show us the size, right? Can you?
Oh yeah, let's see what it is. 13.
I don't understand how 66% correlates with the pot lines. 66%. Does anybody understand the math here?
How 13 is 66%?
Yeah.
Yeah, put in 4 big blinds already from your call, right? That
Okay.
brings the pot to 14. Then 66% of 14 is about 10. So you add 10 and the 4 you had to call, so you're about to 14. And so we
Got
were at 14.9.
Got
Is you put in your call, then 66% of that, of that total that's in there is how that
Got it.
goes.
Hey, Melanie, we go about 3 hours. So it only gets better as we go along.
Wait, what, 3 hours?
Yep. But feel free, you don't have to stay the whole time. Just hang out as long as you want.
Okay, you guys are studious.
We're studious or crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, so we had somebody commented, saying you guys spent 10 minutes or you spent 10 minutes on a 3 big blind hand. You're wasting your time. And my response was, I posted the joke, what's time to a pig? I found Doug Stanhope doing that joke. So that made me very happy.
I have to look. I've never heard that one. I gotta look it up.
Anything
so
else you want to
joke-
see here?
Nope, that'll do it.
Thank you, Mike.
So there's a farmer out in his field, and he's got a bunch of pigs, and he picks one of them up, to the tree, holds him up so he can bites an apple off the tree, puts him down,
Mhm.
takes the next hog, picks it up so we can get a bite of the apple, salesman riding by, looks over and goes, you know, you'd save a lot of time if you just knock the apples off the tree and let the pigs eat them off the ground. And the farmer looks at me and goes, what's time to a pig? All right. So there we go. All right. Next hand is mine. Fold. Oh, we just did that one. Okay, here we go. And has he, and he's topped off now. Is it 70? 10-7 suited folds around, the ace-6 should raise and get a fold. But this is our king-9 guy, our 6-8 guy. He's got a VPIP of 80. He raises the 5-6. Okay.
And we've only seen the 4 deuce.
We saw his 4 deuce. And I think that that is going to affect the game. Although if my memory is the guy we're going to be watching is villain 3, but we'll see. But anyway, so this guy's we've seen a 4 deuce here, played reasonably. All right. So he raises the 5-6. Now the ace-6 should, and this should raise and take it. Ace-6 should not defend. There we go. All right. Mike's hand.
Okay. Jack 10 and a low jack is raised there. And that you should raise and take it. But let's see what happens. All right. We get a flat from the hijack. That is not a thing.
Right. This guy's got 321 big blinds, and we've also seen him play. He's the guy in with the 6-8 offsuit that we didn't see, but this doesn't surprise us to see this given that he called the 6-8. All right.
And fold around. Let's see what happens. And we get the flat from the small blind there. It's not surprising.
Yep. That's not surprising either.
Okay. So theoretically, the small blind should check here. Okay, he does. Jack 10, now that he's in this situation, probably just going to check. And now the ace deuce in position. Now, if it were me and I happened to be in this spot, I would just check here, but probably get some bets if he wants. And I bet he does. I'll bet this guy does bet.
I think I would bet here, and if I got any calls, I would check the turn unless I pick up a 5. Yeah.
All right, he goes B50, small blind. Just call. Does he ever want to do any raising? Probably not out of position like this with this hand, so I would just call. And Jack 10 should fold. Okay, ace 5 now check. And he donks. All right, he leads on this card with no heart. Now that you're sitting here with ace deuce, this is going to start getting a little sketchy, which is why I kind of like checking the flop with this hand, like betting more of your bigger top pairs, ace deuce. You have a back door to the straight on the flop. Now that you're here, you do have a little bit of backup with the deuce of hearts. I would probably call one here.
Yep.
I don't think we should fold.
Nope. When this guy bets out also as the ace deuce, I think it makes my life simpler because I was thinking, should I bet? Should I check? Well, now I know what I do. Yep. He just calls. Yep.
All right. The ace 5 who donked the turn. I mean, what are you going to get? What's going to call you?
And I think what he
Suppose
likes,
you could get called by some like 8s, 9s. Even those are going to be a little hard to get calls from, especially depending on your size. I mean, you could probably go block size. You could probably go like a B10 here,
okay.
or like a like a B33, so like 10 bigs. But if it were me, I'd probably just check.
I would check that.
He goes big.
This is merging AF.
Yeah, and so this is why if I'm sitting here with ace deuce, I doubt it. I don't think I'd even call here. I'd fold the ace deuce.
No, fold it. Yeah. And I think on the turn when he donks out, I think what he saw was I have another straight draw, a 6 and a deuce are good for my straights. And when this guy has an ace, this 7 can't make him happy. And maybe I can get him an ace to fold on the river. And I'll find out if he has a flush by his response.
I mean, in theory, is this an equity shifting card?
Yeah.
Maybe. I think that you've got a good point though. I think that the double gutter.
Yeah, I think that may be what he saw. And I think now I think he's bluffing now, and he doesn't know that he's betting value.
Yeah. Yeah. This is such a weird line, and I don't know if it's brilliant or idiotic.
Yeah.
Since you started with a broken stack, I'm gonna go with idiotic.
Well, his broken stack was weird because it came off the 4. This is the guy who got his aces cracked.
Is this our interesting player at the table?
I think he's going to become very interesting if I remember if I remember where the interesting player was. I think it's him, but we'll see.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Larry.
I don't know. So it should fold around. Hero should RFI.
Yeah.
Jack 8. I think you can defend. I think it's indifferent.
Jack 8 does some raising.
Does it?
Yeah. Yeah, Jack 8 is going to do
Yeah, that bottom of range offsuit jacks, in the charts is going to give you some 3 bets.
50% raises from that.
Yeah, I think it's just 3-bet fold, right?
3-bet, yeah, 3-bet or fold, 50%, 3-bet, 50% fold.
Yeah. So let's see what this guy can do.
But he calls.
Yes, it's surprising.
The worst of the 3 choices.
Yeah,
So
your
no, he's not
typical
using
player
the
isn't going to
RTA.
find 3 bets with Jack 8 off.
Yeah.
So if I were hero, I would check. And see what develops. I would like to know a little bit about going forward thoughts. So I think this is fine. This is fine. You can do a lot of shit here.
Yeah. Check calling down is not bad. I think the check raise without the diamond would be a little bit scared.
I would not check this up.
Yeah, just check call. I would just, if I check, I just check to check call. And I
I
just
think you bet.
check
How
call
long ago
down.
was this session?
Lots of runouts. Say what?
How long ago did you play this session?
3 days ago.
Yeah, I think you bet.
Yeah.
But the question, so let me ask you your bet, because I've gone more towards checking often in this configuration. However, I don't think that's necessarily right. In theory, my guess is that what you're thinking here is, I'm getting so much value from so many diamonds, and I want to extract value from diamonds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in theory, this is going to get checked like almost range, probably like 80-90%.
And I think that's fine. I'm essentially what I'm doing here is I am buddy checking my own theory here, my own strategy here, and asking me.
So I think going into a check call mode on this hand and calling down almost every run out that doesn't have another diamond, and doesn't turn into a 4-card straight is fine.
Yeah.
But I think that this bet is okay.
I agree. I think it's good.
Yeah, just throw this into the solver and make sure that it isn't a check range board. Let's just confirm.
Mike, I might defer to you for some solver today. Is that okay?
What's that?
I might defer to you for.
Defer.
Oh yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks.
Mike. I appreciate that.
All right.
All right, I got it.
Hand.
I
You
got
got it
it.
ready? All right. Let's just take a look at just that far.
I think we're gonna have a myriad of options here.
Okay.
We check. That's
There's a
fine.
lot of checking. When we bet 2, and my hand was king 9 offsuit, right? King 9 offsuit, which has some, yeah, there you go. Mostly checking, some betting.
And I'm gonna reiterate, I think your play is fine. I think,
Yeah.
for me, I'm asking the question because I want to understand how other people are thinking about these spots.
Yours is the main line. And mine's okay.
Yeah, Scotty, this is the balanced strategy, right? I mean, you're playing against a pool that a c-bet's going to be more effective than the solver is going to show.
Because they're gonna have fewer bluffs against it. I'm not gonna lose my equity that way. When they raise me, I'm beat. Although I have nothing on this guy that tells me that this is a good idea. It's just happens. All right,
Yeah, okay.
here we go. Melanie's next.
Okay. Ace five suited, could be a raise.
Good,
He called.
right.
Heroes
Look
can
at
be
these mistakes. This is, just so you know, this is NL 100, Melanie, and this is not an aberration.
What means aberration?
Oh, sorry, meaning this is not an unusual session of NL 100. They make mistakes at NL 100.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that nice to know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I also make
mean,
mistakes at NL 100, but I think they make more, I hope.
Yeah. I mean, it's five suited. I would raise 4-7 fold, 6-9 fold, 7-8 call, or
Right.
6-9 raises.
Right. Now, this is going to be our guy for the session.
Okay.
So I want to watch how he plays as we learn to play against him, but also I want you to remember what he's shown down. So what we know about him so far. All
Mhm.
Point.
he show down is the aces.
So, Scott, not to interrupt, Scotty, so we focus on maybe how we adjust play against this player class.
Yes. And
I think that's
as his tendencies become clear, they're not clear yet, but they're going to become clear.
Yeah.
But I want you to keep in mind, separate from what we know about him, because we're seeing his hands up, and what we knew about him at the time. Because there's a couple
we have a viral potential video here. Please like and
Yes.
subscribe.
there's a couple of decisions that I made that I really want to see how bad they were based on the information I had at the time, not the information we have now. With the information we have now, they were the wrong decisions, clearly. But going on. All right. So
Okay. 7-8 suited, that deep and multi-way, it could be a call.
yeah,
Ace four, I don't know.
I think I'm going to fold it. I think I'm going to fold it because I don't close the action with it.
Mm,
I don't think it would be a bad call.
yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, small blind falls and big blind. I don't know. Like, I mean, I was told that if there's just a two big blind raise, then you could call any two, but 2-7 is really bad, so I would fold it
But
nevertheless.
not three. So that thing to a two big blind raise, you can call any two cards to a two big blind raise from the small blind because you're in position. Out of position you can't, and three-way you can't.
Yeah.
So and the solvers confirm this. This is not a call range here to two big blind.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
But this
No,
guy,
I would fold it. I would fold it. Okay. Because
but we are seeing some super loose play from these two guys here.
yeah. Okay, ace five he calls.
Can I just ask a question here?
Yeah.
I'm not to interrupt, I'm sorry. Build one had a fancy play potential here. This hand becomes a really good trap bluff. I think.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Larry. Like if you're going to have a limp strategy where you limp aces type of thing, this would be your counter.
This
Yeah.
is this is your balance, good trap
Yep.
bluff.
But he doesn't have a tricky limping range. He just has a weak limping range.
Yeah.
We're not going to see him limp aces or kings later, or ace king, I don't think. We'll see. All right.
Okay. Wheel and five should check. Ace five could bet. Could check. But I expect him to bet.
I expected him to check. I'm shocked to see this.
Now that, I mean, if you said he was loose.
Yeah, we're finding out. Okay.
Yeah. 6-9. He's if he's sticky, he's gonna stick around because of the 9. The villain tree. And he calls. 2-7 should fold. Okay. Villain 1 should bet.
Yeah.
He bets 6, 49 into 12. That should make villain 3 think. Should fold.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% fold. But he doesn't.
But he calls.
Yeah.
On goes the fun. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Ace 5, I mean, they didn't complete, so either they're going to pretend something, but what? Exactly, I mean, yeah, they did bet. Maybe so. Okay, if he bets, maybe small, because now the board is paired.
And a 4.
And there's a lot of like queen.
Queen anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so he should either check or bet small.
So before the jack comes and he sees this call, should he be thinking that villain 3 has very many queens here with this call for the 9-10 jack queen king?
I mean, villain 3's range is rather condensed, and it could include queens, because if villain 1 bets on the flop, maybe villain 3 hopes to complete something, right? I mean, I'm not saying they should be thinking like that, because it would be a gut shot.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, if we know that he's loose, then he might stick around for that. So he could have queens in his range.
So we're going to stick Mark Goons into this hand here. So we'll start with on this river. If it's Jonathan, Jonathan could reasonably bet this on the backdoor, on your backdoor flush. You bet it here because you had a straight draw, an overcard, not a good overcard. I mean, the overcards are kind of a disaster because you still be against queen, and you have your flush. On the river. You know your ace is not good now.
Yeah.
So Jonathan could bet this. Mark Goons, looking at this guy's call here, says this guy almost never calls with a queen. The only queen he can call with is a queen, is a suited queen of diamonds and a suited queen of hearts. Otherwise, he's got to worry about this. He's going to raise his queens all the time now because he gets called and because so therefore he doesn't have a queen. And if he doesn't have a queen, can I get him to fold? I can get him to fold on everything except for a board pairing thing, because this brings in, because he calls with 2 pairs here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, King Jack, 10 Jack, Jack 9. Those are some of them. So yeah. All right, let's see what he does. So I'm not sure whether Mark Goons bets into this Jack.
Yeah, I'm not either.
But the
I
Jack,
think generally a board pairing for our bluff line is bad.
Yeah. But he gets diamonds to fold. He gets kings to fold. He doesn't get queens to fold. And he doesn't think he has a queen. So maybe it's not a bluff.
One marking line that might happen here out of position is a block bet.
Right.
Not targeting pairs, but targeting busted draw.
Right. Just get the diamonds to fold.
Yeah.
Now, do I beat yeah, because the diamonds might bluff and I'm going to fold to the bluff. Okay. So he checks down. And now we see this hand. I was playing at 2 tables at the time, trying to do the thing that we talked about last week of paying attention to 2 tables.
Yeah.
I saw this and immediately sat out my next big blind on the other table and started playing this table alone. This is
Good choice,
when
Nick. Good choice.
this is when I paid attention. And I went back and I looked at the hand and I went, wait a minute. How did he get here? And then I saw, and I reviewed it because I wasn't playing live. You know, I reviewed it and I saw the 2 big blind raise, calls there, calls there. Okay. So
Mhm.
my initial thing, this guy's playing too wide pre-flop, weird bet sizing, raises that do nothing, and is sticky as hell. So that's my note to start with. And I go, and I have position on him. This is my table for the rest of the night. Now let's
By the
see.
way, why do you actually see all the cards from the villain?
Oh,
on the
because we're cheating. We have super user status and we can see all the cards in real time. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was a
No,
real
I
question.
mean, like why
no.
are yeah.
Because this is Ignition, and Ignition is an anonymous site that 24 hours later will let you download the hand history and see everyone's whole cards at all times.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's a great learning tool, but you can't exploit it against an individual player because no one has a name. So the next time you sit down with these players, you don't know this.
Okay, unless you remember.
Say again?
Unless you remember their usernames.
No, that's what I'm saying. There are no usernames on Ignition. Every time you sit down at a table, you get named villain, whatever the number you sat down at that table.
Ah, okay. So you let Ignition run over your game while you're playing it.
No, Ignition is the site. So this is, I will show you. This is ignition poker.eu.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll have a look.
Right. And the disadvantage of this site is that their customer support is not great and their software is not great. It has some bugs. The wonderful thing about this site is that 24 hours later, they let you download full hand histories of everything. So you can learn player pool tendencies, you can see how people are playing, and it's great for our study sessions. That's why I play there.
I mean, it's incredible in a way. People have built businesses on Ignition hand history.
Yeah.
Like Brad Wilson has built essentially a business on mining the data he pulled from these single feet.
Yeah. So it's so great. All right. So Stefan.
Hey, real quick, Scotty.
Yeah.
I wanted to address something with Melanie. Melanie, are you a tournament player or do you play primarily cash?
Primarily tournaments, but I've started doing the cash game masterclass.
Oh, good. And because I was going back to the advice you were given about calling any two in the big blind to a two big blind raise, and cash is considerably different. I can't speak to tournaments because I don't play tournaments, so maybe that advice applies. But to cash, the rake is a consideration. It's a big consideration.
Oh
I
yeah,
probably can't. Yeah, I probably can't articulate it very well, but I can illustrate it, Scotty, if you want to give me the screen.
Yeah.
And just to show you, like, for example, using a GTO strategy, anyway, here is in a situation where the hijack raises two big blinds and you're in the big blind by yourself. You can see that this is clearly not calling any two. If we go to a sim where it's even from the button raises and we just get to defend the big blind. Even to a button two big blind raise, we're not calling any two. You can see we're folding just a ton of offsuit stuff.
Yeah.
And even some suited stuff. So I just wanted to illustrate that because I had a feeling that maybe that you had gotten that advice from like a tournament.
Yeah, I did, and I felt still very apprehensive.
Well, let me show here. Let me show something here. Command Shift S. Let me go to Zoom. Command Shift S. All right. So we're going to go here to cancel. There we go. So in tournaments, just in an MTT, you don't call any two because here, let's get it to two big blind size. So it goes to two big blinds right there at 20. So the button raises and you'll see the big blind at 20. Calls almost any two, but not any two, right?
Mm.
What the thing that you're remembering, I believe, is something that Jonathan Little said, which was because you'll notice that the small blind doesn't raise to two, it raises to 3. And still the big blind calls almost everything. But if the small blind raised to 2 here, which would be a mistake, then the big blind can call any two cards.
Yeah.
Because basically he's saying is, I don't think you can realize 25% equity in position. That I'm insulting you. I think you play so bad that you can't even do that. That's also why the small blind raise size at 40 big blinds needs to be this big, needs to be 3.5. Otherwise, the big blind would be correct to call any two.
Exactly. Okay.
So it was that. And in cash games, if the small blind did raise to just a two, we have a rake, so we can't call any two, but we can call pretty damn wide to a two big blind raise from the small blind alone, but not to a two big blind raise from the field and then a two big blind call from the small blind. Because although we're getting incredible pot odds, we're getting 1 to 5 pot odds, even in a low rake situation, we're getting horrible negative reverse implied pot odds. And that's the thing that counts in
Okay.
multi-way pots. Super
Okay.
important is that our
Yeah.
big blind range contracts with every other caller that's in before us. All right. So we
Okay.
took a note on
Okay.
this guy, and Stefan, this next hand is yours if you would like to
Right.
narrate it.
Okay. 10-2 should fold, I think.
Right, but he does. Sorry.
And you will have a raise here. And fold. First hand. I have not warmed up, but I think he should probably free bet here.
Absolutely.
Oh, that wasn't big. Too big, that
Oh,
free
that
bet.
wasn't.
Strange. Yeah, he folds. So, yeah, I think it's an easy call because sometimes when people as a free bet small, they have like the aces and the kings. So I think
Yep.
you should go easy on this one. So just call, I think.
Yep.
And I think I should go for a check raise here if I was playing.
Yep, he does. And I politely oblige. Why am I obliging? I was going to say I politely don't oblige. Oh, I hate myself.
I don't know.
Oh, well.
Oh, he just calls.
Yeah,
And why is that strange?
because he's trapping me and it's going to work.
I don't think everybody has check raise in their arsenal.
Oh. Okay, so that was maybe check again. I would check here.
Right.
Oh, he bets now. He bets
You
now.
definitely
That's
check again.
Yes, that's strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, what is it, 22 to 7, a 10, maybe an ace. It's a close call. I think you should call, just call.
I think I should fold.
Yeah.
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 I mean, he let me off the hook. I made a mistake and he let me off the hook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But I think, yeah. So I think that check raise would be the play here.
Yep.
On the
Yep.
flop. Yes.
Now, if I had done it the other way, where if I just checked behind here, and he's now got a much harder bet here, and if his bet is like, and the pot's going to be 6 more, the pot's going to be 9. If he bets like 3 into 9, I think I can call him with my straight draw.
Yes.
Which not great. So yeah, he let me get away from that easily.
Scotty, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can you go back to flop?
No, I don't want to look at the flop anymore.
I don't mean to cause you emotional pain, but if you could endure it for 1 moment.
Yes.
Have you considered Hungry Horse flop strat?
Which is in 3-bet pots, he's going to check range.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
therefore, if he's checking range, I should not be betting this hand. That strat, you mean?
No,
Or is it
I
different?
actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. I made a mistake. I did not realize it was too bad. I was not paying enough attention, so I'm gonna shut up.
Right. Yeah, it was 3-bet, but it was bizarrely 3-bet. And
Yeah,
so,
that's probably why I didn't identify
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
So I'm gonna shut up.
all right. So that happened. All right, next hand is mine. Fold, raise, fold, fold, defend by calling. Let's see if that's what happens. Fold, raise, fold, fold, defend by calling. Good. All right.
And
Uh,
villain 3 is still our interesting person.
I think so. I think so. We're gonna see. That's my memory is that it was villain 3, but no one has become. He's already interesting. I mean, he did that 6-9, so he's gonna become interesting. Yeah. So, he checks. I think this 10 queen can absolutely bet here. He can bet small with the wrap. Yep, he bets small. Good for him.
Oh,
This check raise isn't terrible. Defending by check, defending your range by check raising. This particular hand being smaller than the 4 is scary, but the 4 is really irrelevant. So I don't hate this at all.
why do you say that the 4 is irrelevant?
This guy does not have a lot of 4s in his range. He has ace 4 suited. He can have some 5-4 and
Okay,
he
okay.
can have 4-4. So what I mean is when this guy bets small,
Yes.
if I have normally to make this play with a pair, your pair should be bigger than the bottom card.
Yeah.
So this should
Yes.
be, so if this is a 7, you should be doing, if you're going to do this, you want to have 8s if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Pair. You don't want to do it with 6s. I'm saying that that his 3s don't, that this is a fine play with 5s. How bad is it with 3s and deuces? Not so much because this 4 is not going to really come into play. Also because villain 4 is going to be really hard pressed to stay with a 4 if I continue this bluff.
Yeah.
No, I am isolating. Yeah, that's the other reason is that if he has ace 4 and I continue this bluff, he's folding it on the turn or on the river, at least probably on the turn. But it works in the way it often works. That the 10 queen just says, I'm done. I assume that 10 queen here does not in solver land does not fold pure. I think when you do this with a 10 queen, you probably continue some percentage of the time. Would you look that up, Mike?
Checking now, the queen 10 off is mostly folding.
Okay. Does it have
And
any
if
calls?
you call, it likes having a diamond.
Right. So yeah, so it does some calling, mostly folds, right?
Mostly folding all the way through, but there's tiny bit of calling to the diamond if you have a diamond.
All right, let me see how small that is. Show it.
Stand by. So just to show you the big blinds, check raising here with pocket 3s.
Yep.
Pretty good clip. Pretty good clip
Yeah.
all around through his range. Having a 20%, about a 21% check raising strategy is pretty significant. You don't see it that big very often.
Does,
Yeah.
can I ask you a question here, Mike? Does Big Blind have a trips advantage here? Yeah, ranges and then this looks like trips. So if you go to filters on the lower right and click on trips, it'll show us. There it
Okay.
is. I'll do it too. Not much, but maybe enough.
Oh no, look at it. No, it's 12, yeah, 12.9.
No, I'm wrong.
Oh,
He does
no,
not
it's
have.
cutoff has the trips advantage.
Yeah, Claudius got it. So okay. So I was wondering if that was driving the high check raise.
And Scotty, here's your queen 10 off strategy.
Great. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, half the time with the queen of diamonds and a lot with the 10 of diamonds and none of the other ones. Great. Yeah.
What do we
Okay.
want to block? we want to block Jack 10 suited. Diamonds is my only guess.
We don't need to, it doesn't need to be suited. The big blind can call Jack 10 offsuit against a cutoff
Yeah.
raise.
Yeah, I don't know what that was good.
Yeah, so his fold here is fine, but I like seeing the instinct of saying that you can also be calling the queen 10 here sometimes. Okay, great. And we do not see that shown down. We've only seen him show down that weird 6-9. All right. Up next. Oh, sorry. Let me go back to Zoom.
I think did Stefan have this one?
The 3-3.
No, I had one before.
Okay. Oh, this was me.
Yeah.
Probably me. So it's probably you, Mike.
Oh, okay. This is me?
Yeah, probably.
All right. So what should happen? Aces should raise, and ace 3 actually gets some 3 bets here. Doubt they're going to do it. But if aces just raise and they go, okay, so we had a poster. All right.
Yeah. So this is
So they
perfect.
go pot size raise, which is pretty good. And that, in theory, should get around to the big blind with king 9 suited would defend.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens.
Right.
Yep, there we go. We're not surprised to see that.
Right. This seems extra bad. So if the ace 3 plays here, when this is inflated for this reason, that seems like a perfect time to not play it. But he's got 307 big blinds, so he didn't care.
Yeah, it should fold. Now, king 9 suited to the
Wait
big
for it.
raise.
You're missing the fact that there's going to be a call here first.
Well, I mean, I'm not getting into the fish's head. I don't, but
They're
you're
not
right.
in his head, but in mine. I was just saying.
They do call. Okay, so 8-4 suited calls, which is terrible. King 9 now to this action, probably in theory is a fold, but do we get to call and kind of make an exploitative call to play a suited hand that can make some nuts? It's probably, probably 0 EV, but you probably could do it.
Yeah. It seems like it's not a mistake to fold it.
I think I would fold personally.
Yeah, I called this time.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
Yeah.
Knowing the players, like if this was a table full of really good players, which I mean you're not going to get this kind of action, I think you should fold it. But so yeah, you make an exploitative call here. So it should go check, check is what should happen. Aces only has one player behind left to act. Not holding a club. I think you can go either way. I think you can check here, or you can bet and like do like a B33, B25 kind of size.
This is a really bad
He should not be happy. He should
combo.
not all
No.
be happy. No.
No,
Yeah.
if he bets and gets called, I mean, you're really not happy.
I think check range actually on this
Yeah.
too.
I think I would check this if I didn't have a club. He goes
Oh,
B25, B30. Ace 3 suited with the clubs. Do they ever want to raise now? Probably not, because you still have kind of uncapped ranges behind you that could easily contain a 10.
Yep.
So I think I'm just calling.
Yeah, you're not playing for nuts.
And fold. Scotty, you should fold your top pair now.
Right. What? Joey is screaming in my head. Listen
Yeah,
to Joey. Listen
Joey
to
would have
Joey.
a fit.
Why
if
do you
made
not
this call.
listen to Joey? Listen to Joey.
I should have listened to Joey last night live. He was right.
Yeah.
And this might surprise some people that I think we're advocating for an easy fold as opposed to, oh gosh, this is kind of a tough decision. I feel like it's kind of an easy fold.
It's an easy fold.
Yeah. Yeah. Where was my inner Joey last night? Joey.
Yeah. Now,
And I'm not being swayed by the fact that I can see cards here. Even if we got here without knowing these players, I would fold king 9.
this is an easy fold, and it's an easier fold with king 9 of diamonds. You can take one breath and go, I have backdoor spades, and then fold anyway. But if someone were to look at this and go, and say, well, let's see, what should I, and we all start screaming, you fold, you're an idiot, you fold. You go, wait a minute, I have backdoor spades, so I should fold. That's what should have happened.
I think I should call. But maybe that's wrong.
So here's the answer, Stefan. We'll do it real short. We'll do this is Joey is somebody who was in our study group for a while. He's now going back to school, so he doesn't have time to be here. And he was also going to be a coach. He's a good player, and he expressed it this way. See how I did that, Larry?
I missed it.
Oh, okay. And he expressed this way. In multi-way pots where two people are interested, a single pair rarely wins by the river.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Just
fair
start
enough.
with that.
Yeah.
Therefore, a single pair mostly folds when more than one person is interested. So now you look at that, and then you look at this particular board, and you go, well, I have top pair and not even a good kicker. So that's another reason to fold. There's a pair on the board that someone could have. That's another reason to fold. And even if I have the best king, easily there could be somebody with a flush draw and straight draws. And give one of these guys Jack Queen, give the other guy a couple of clubs, and nobody has a 10. And I'm still not even the favorite of the hand with a top pair against two draws.
Yeah,
So,
and it's a big chance that you will have to call on the turn also, because yeah.
And the one thing that's good about this hand is I'm only going to lose this bet. This is a mistake that I lost this bet, but I'm not losing the turn bet. I'm going to fold this on the turn.
Now, if you have king queen here, I think it starts to become a little bit harder to consider folding, but king nine should be an easy fold.
This should be an easy fold.
Yeah.
It should be an easy fold.
Now
All
it's
right,
an easy
Scotty,
fold.
you should check. The aces decide to check, which is probably a good check.
He's not trapping. Yeah.
Ace three of clubs. Now, once you got the other two players have told you they've got interest. I don't think you want to bet here. I could be wrong, because I'm trying to think of a range that the other two players have gotten here with. Maybe a small bet might be appropriate, but I'm not sure.
Mike, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I think your check back is right. Would you consider a bet here on a non-thread building?
I didn't hear you, Larry.
I think your check and for villain 5 is right. Would you consider a bet for villain 5 on a non-paired board?
Let me think. So, like, say king 10 deuce or
Well,
something.
how about make it a 9 so that I had a good reason to call? Let's make it better. Let's make it king 10-9.
Then that means a straight's available. So I probably wouldn't bet there. King 10 blank, like king 10 5, king 10 deuce. Then I think I like the smaller bet better. Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah. And then I think that if villain 5 bets here, he wants to bet an amount that leaves him enough to get folds on the river if this club doesn't come in. If he puts neither of us on a 10, he wants to get a king to fold by the river. And so he's got to have at least pot size behind for us. So if he bets, let's say, if he bets 20 into here, this is going to be 56, and I'm going to have 69 left. So that's almost good enough. And if this other guy calls, if he gets 2 calls, then the pot's going to go to 76, and I'm going to have 69. So that's bad. But then again, he's not going to bluff into both of us on the river. So that's good. So yeah, I think I think he can bet 15 to 18 here and then jam the river if that's what his plan is, to jam the river if it does, whether it gets there or doesn't get there. So he's going to hit a club or represent a 10 because he believes that both of us are capped at a king right now. And he goes for the check. There's the 8. I'm going to check and hope to get there.
Got it, yeah. Okay, yep.
Then he correctly realizes there is no 10 out there. There's the fold. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, I hate myself. Oh, boy, the pre-flop fold would be so good.
Joey is dropping out and coming to reprimand you.
Right, all right. I do not go on tilt after this. I make other mistakes, but tilt is not the mistake I make. Okay, there we go. That was Mike. Larry, this is your hand.
Yeah, hold on to button, hero fold, jack nine defend. So this is to me is a clear ISO. So I would, if I was button, I would go to 5 these days. Okay, now I'm going to 6. Cool. And big blind makes a very disciplined fold, and he's a good player.
Yeah.
So let's watch Villain 4's stats move, because he's a good player.
Yes, right. Villain 4 has played well, and I have not. This 3-4, I almost think this is a terrible limp, but if you're going to be limping 3-4 and trying to make it a profitable hand, do you have to call against the
No.
squeeze? No, it's too big. Yep, okay.
Especially
It's
not
inter-
closing the action.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's interesting to
Pretty
see
good.
just direct odds versus equity.
Yep, I'm with you. All right. Melanie, this is your hand.
Okay. King 6 suited. I would expect him to raise it. For me, I
Sure.
would probably only raise. Okay, good. Let's move on. um.
A good raise here, by the way. In the low jack, king 6 suited is a very good raise.
Oh yeah, it's 6-handed. True.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But he doesn't.
Okay. 5-7 folds as well, right? We already saw that. Queen 10 could raise it up now.
Yep.
4-3 should fold.
Absolutely.
6-5 should fold. 10-3 should fold.
Yep,
And
good.
that's it.
All right. Stefan, it is your hand.
Yes.
Oh, and let me show one thing real quick. We're going to go back to the regular. We're going to go to cash. We're going to go to classic and 100 big blind stacks. Rake NL. Where's my NL 100? Oh, pre-flop only. Here we go. That's where we have it. NL 100 rake. And just showing you what this, and there we go. And we'll do 2.5 opens. So there's your suited kings there in the low jack. So king 6 can open. Doesn't. At a
Okay.
different rake, it's a higher percent. The king 6 is 100% at, if you change this to the NL 50 rake and 9-handed, the king 6 is 100% raise, but this is fine. So there it is.
And NL5?
I don't have NL5. Let's see. Do I have
Okay.
Does it give me an NL5? So NL25 is going to be the closest thing we
Okay,
have.
let's do that.
NL25, 6-handed. Here we go. Lots and lots.
Okay, okay.
Lots of king 6.
King 5 suited, Queen 9 suited. Okay, good.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. All right.
The higher the rate, the more raising.
Got it.
Okay. Good. Okay. Stefan, this is your hand.
Okay, all right. Fold, raise, fold, call, 3-bet, 3-bet, call 3-bet.
This ace-9. So you're calling this ace-9 here? He's going to it. I expect him to
Yeah,
call.
I think you shouldn't limp on the small blind, but I'm kind of weak for ace-9. I trying to not limp on the small blind, but some hands, yeah. I know. You should 3-bet or fold. Yeah, that's the way you should do it. But
Yeah, I don't even have a calling range here, but if you do have one, note that it's almost all suited
yeah,
and
I know.
and it all can make a straight.
Yeah, your reverse implied odds here are really bad if they're stacked up.
Yeah.
And this call is losing.
But we fully expect this guy to do it with a VPIP of 64. To get
Yeah.
to a VPIP of 64, you've got to be doing this.
Yes.
Okay.
And he should 3-bet.
To what size?
uh, 7, like 11 maybe, 12 because it's on the big blind. Out of position, but they had a small blind, so yeah, 11, 12 somewhere around there.
Okay. Wizards is gonna say to
Gonna keep-
15.
Oh yeah,
And-
because there are actually two in
Right,
the pot.
yeah.
Yes.
And Jonathan Little is going to say 7.5, 10
Yes.
plus, so yeah, so it's gotta be plus all the other money in the pot, which you've already got in there. So you're gonna raise 10, that goes to 12.5. You're gonna raise it to 10 and then plus the size of this. So Jonathan Little does this to 12.5 and the wizard does this to 15. And he goes to
Right.
9. He
9.
desperately
That
wants
was
to
small.
win.
This
That's
is,
almost like I want someone to call me.
Right.
yeah, this is poker stack play.
And with that in mind, should I oblige, knowing I'm behind, for this price? 7.5, it's gonna cost me 6.5.
I think this is a close call, but if I were playing live and he had like under 10, I think I think I should fold because I think general when they do maybe there are two ways to seeing this. I think that either way there are really bad players they don't know how to play, and otherwise they want me to call because they have the ace or the kings.
Right.
So I think I have folded this if it was a live play because
Okay.
we are two. There are 3 people in the pot also.
Gotcha. So to normal sizing, instant fold. To this smaller sizing, consider calling and mostly folding, but say to yourself, I'm not closing the action. So it's a
Yes.
fold.
Yes.
And then add one player read. I am effectively closing the action. This guy has no call raises. With a 64 VPIP and a
Yeah.
pre-flop raise of 21, he is not going to, he has almost no call from the small blind and then jump up, no small blind traps like that.
No.
So having said that, I still think it's a fold, but it's not those are the competing things. And I think it's still a better fold. And I do. All right.
Yes.
Good enough. Okay.
Yep.
And Isaac, this next hand is yours to narrate. So if you want to turn on your mic, and you don't have to, but if you want to, you can.
I'll try.
Isaac is replaying a scene from Apocalypse Now right now. Here we go.
Can you hear me?
Like
Yep, we can
victory.
hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so heroes, king jack, raise, right? Raise king jack.
Yep.
You're under the gun.
Raise King
Or
Jack,
no, you're low jack. You're high jack.
hijack.
Right? Okay.
What should happen next?
I think villain should fold or cutoff should fold. Button maybe call to try to set a trap when we're playing deep stack. What do you think?
Well, he's deep stacked, but we're only at 100 big blinds deep here. So he should fold there with a
Okay.
7. He should be.
Ace 8, I would think 3 bets. I would think the small blind would 3 bet.
Your 3-betting range here is, he may do it, but a better GTO 3-betting range from my hijack raise is going to be down, is all the way to ace jack on the offsuit branch. So these are all
Okay. Okay.
what he does.
That's probably where I'm messing up.
Yep. So that's good to learn. We want to be, you want to be tighter and more aggressive than that. What this guy's going to do is he's going to call because he's a bad player and that's how he plays bad. And now you're in the big blind. What should you do with ace 5 here?
Um, I'm still on the charts. Okay, I three bet that too.
Okay, so this would be a better, this would be a better fold here, and the reason is against the two players here, you want in your bluffs are gonna come. Let's see where our bluffs come from before I say that. So when you get the call here, here's your big blind. Oh, nope, it's a bluff. Good. Yep, you found it. It's there. You can bluff that. Your more common bluffs though. So these are your values here. These are bluffs, but they're bluffs with a lot of equity, you know, so if you get
Sorry,
called,
it disconnected me.
oh, you're disconnected?
It just reconnected, but yeah, it disconnected me. Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay. So, good catch. Ace five does bluff there a little bit. I didn't know that. But but your better bluffs are these higher equity bluffs here. You know, these are merged with,
Okay.
and then down here. This king three is more often, so there's 3 times as many ace five as there are king three suiteds. So if you increase this, if you make this 3 times bigger to make it look like that, it's still, you have more combos of king three suited that are bluffing than ace five. But it's there. I expect this guy to fold. He has a VPIP of 7. He's gonna just fold. There we go. And we get to the
Okay.
It's time for this mistake to pay off. So what would you like to do? You're in the small blind.
Oh, I didn't know small. What did small blind do? That they just
Small
call?
blind, called behind
did-
my raise. So I raised, small blind called. big
Okay,
blind
gotcha.
folded, and now he's got this flop out of position.
I would have three bet or folded right there at the small blind. To be honest, I wanted to call it ever.
Right. Yep. But
So
unfortunately, this is
I-
what you're faced with.
okay, I would just now. I think the only thing you can do is just check call all the way down, and hopefully no more hearts come.
Yep. Yep. That seems good.
I don't know.
Check. Yep. And now on this board, you're me.
Hopefully the
Got the
straight
call,
doesn't
small blind.
complete.
Yep. So what do you want to do with your king queen, your king jack with a king of hearts here?
I mean, you're drawing to this. I would bet a third pot.
Okay.
Um,
Yep. The
two
solver's gonna
big
do that.
blinds.
Yep, that's a fine bet. The solver's gonna do that sometimes. In the simplified Jonathan Little strategy, you would look at this hand and say, this hand has 2 things going for it. Second pair with a decent kicker, so that's marginally made, and the nut flush draw. So the nut flush draw wants to bet, and the second pair with a decent kicker wants to check behind. Which of those wins the argument? And
Yeah.
generally, it is the made portion, the made portion of your hand wins the argument against the draw portion of your hand. So mostly this is going to be a check. If you bet it, you wouldn't be wrong.
Okay.
And I go for that check.
Okay, so check because I hit second pair.
Yep, I got showdown. And
Okay.
like that. So now ace 8 after check.
Okay.
What would you like to do with your ace 8 here after ace check? You don't know that I have a king jack with a king of hearts.
I get confused on the turn. I think this is where I start messing up really bad because I don't know whether to bet small or big or check. Like this is where I always mess up when I'm
Right.
playing the game. So I honestly don't know what to do on this turn play.
Okay, what do we
I
think?
would bet 3/4 pot.
Okay. Mike, Larry, Stefan, and Melanie, what size do you like if you choose to bet here and take a probe? This is a probe bet, right? Is that what that's called? A
Yep.
turn probe after check. What do you like for your probe size here?
A third.
Okay.
Maybe.
Mike or Larry, do you guys have an opinion of probe size?
Yeah,
Stefan?
probably like a B50.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay to bet B50. Yeah.
Yeah. So a third to 50 is what this group's saying. I think that's right. We can't put this in the solver to get it. But it would be the equivalent if we put us in the big blind, we could have a hand like this maybe and bet it. So we'll see what size the solve. So Mike, take a look at just
Yep, I just got it in here. It doesn't like a bet from ace X. It likes checking. But
okay.
when we do bet other hands, it's a big bet. It's a B75. There is some B50s and a very small amount of B33.
Okay. So there's your the players here all think that 33 and 50 is good, and GTO thinks 50 and 75 is good on this particular run out. All right. And not with this particular hand.
No, yeah, we
Yes.
wouldn't. Yeah.
Good for him. Now, what do you want to do with King Jack?
I typically get screwed right here because if I miss my heart draw and I bet a third right here, I'm typically firing the river really big, and I typically get called right there and lose a lot. So I don't know.
Right.
That's happened to me multiple times in the last few past days. So on Stone Cold Bluffs, like where I got a little bit of showdown, but I'm trying to steal the pot because I'm trying to get them off of whatever they got, but they're just calling stations, so they just call me down anyways.
Well, in this particular arrangement, if I bet the turn, I don't need to bet on blank rivers because I have a lot of showdown with my jack. And if I'm going to try to get a fold, I don't need to get a better jack to fold. I have the best jack there is. So what I'm trying to do is getting an ace to fold. And Mark Goons makes a lot of money by coming up with when is his opponent capped, and when they're capped, betting huge and getting them to fold their whole range, including top pair. I am not trying to make money by getting people to lay down top pairs. I'm trying to make money by having the better hand, or trying to get people to lay down busted flushes that are easy to lay down, or sixes. So I'm not in the business yet. I'm not a good enough player, and I don't trust my reads well enough to think that I'm going to try to get ace high to fold. So if I'm not trying to get ace high to fold, I don't have to bet this jack on the river, and I just take my showdown value. So I lose whatever size bet I make here. Now whether to bet here or not, here are the things you think. It's the exact same. The six changes nothing. The six is a blank. It's almost the blank. It is the blanketiest blank that you could possibly blank. It's blanker than a five. It's blank. So the argument before, my draw is now less valuable because I only have one card to come. I still have showdown value. The one argument for making a bet here now is that second pair top kicker kind of gets promoted after it goes check, 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 check. And I could get value from other jacks here. So I would not hate a bet here of 50 or 75. We'll see if this does the solver, Larry. I mean,
yeah, with your hand, King of Hearts, Jack X, 50% of the time it bets, 50% of the time it checks, and of the time it bets, it likes B33 or B50, pretty much split even.
Great. So that makes total sense. That makes total sense, right, Isaac? You can see why those are good bets. And so the solver does that, and that was what I was saying I don't hate a bet, and when I bet, I want to bet in that sort of 50% range. Let's see which I do this time. This time I go for the 33, and I get my answer. He calls.
So when he calls, what do you think he's got?
I think now.
Or what do you think he's looking for?
I think now that he has some heart draws that I don't care about because I beat them. He might have a jack, and I beat all the jacks. He might have a weak ace, which I lose to. He might have a pocket.
And you're not going to try to get him a fold?
I hope not. I hope that I check this back and don't try to get him to bluff an ace. Whereas there are people who would say to me right now, you have to get him to fold an ace. You have to bet 2x pot. And I'm not going to. I know me. He checks. And I'm just gonna check behind and take my equity, which in this case, I didn't have. And my play
That was
lost,
good play though.
lost me 2 big blinds more. You know. And so you could argue I didn't need to lose these 2 big
Yeah,
blinds.
maybe I feel like I'm bluffing too much on the river sometimes because like I'll be going all in or oversized pot bet and they won't even think twice to call me with second pair sometimes. And
Yep.
I'll have like some like pocket twos.
Right. So with this hand, so with this on your sort of bluffing, like, can you bluff checklist? You want to ask the following questions. First is he capped? Meaning, does he have the nuts in his range? Are you bluffing into the nuts? And the answer here is he can never have the nuts because I have the king of hearts. All right. So that's good.
Okay.
Does he have any flushes with this line? Check, 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 bet, call, check. I would say no. I would say that statistically he has almost no flushes here. Does he have any straights here?
Okay.
He could. He could have a straight. But but he really needs king. Should really have king queen suited here, not king queen offsuit. Well, I guess he could have the king queen. So he could have a straight here. You know, 2 pairs, the things that are going to call you. Do I block any 2 pairs? I block some 2 pairs. That's good. So those are reasons you might consider bluffing. And then
Yeah.
you say, okay, do I need to turn my hand into a bluff? No. So if I have king 9 of hearts here, king 9, which I don't know why I would have it here, offsuit with a king of hearts. Now I need to bluff because I'm not going to win. If I did this with queen
Yeah.
9,
Because
you
you
know,
have no showdown value.
no showdown value. So as you go through this, think about his hand, you know, do you block the nuts? That's really important. If you don't, you're going to bluff less. If you do, you can really consider the bluff. Then, you know, also, how sticky is he? So let's look at his stat. We don't know what his river call stat is, but this is a guy who likes to play a lot of hands. He might be sticky. This guy's not sticky.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not to say that that you can't be tight and sticky, but these are the stats we have. We can build out his whole stat. How many hands do we have on him anyway? We have 13 hands, so we don't have a lot of information to base this on. But moving on. All right, so that's what we got. The next hand is, and we'll see some bluffing opportunities. Okay, next hand, this is me. This should go fold, fold, raise. The king jack suited should be doing some 3-betting here. And if he calls, it's not bad. He should never fold this king jack suited. These 2 guys should fold. What I expect to have happen is raise, call. I don't expect to see this guy do a 3-bet here, given his previous play. Raise, there's his call. And I expect this guy to call with his king 3, which is a huge mistake, but I expect to see it with a VPIP of 57. You don't get up to 57 without making that mistake. All right. This hand may go down to who wants it the most. He should check. Queens should check, but he bets because of, and I think this bet is out of discomfort. It's like, I'm betting to find out where I am. And I think that this is not a good bet for that.
I think this isn't a significant error.
Say it again.
I agree, this is a significant error.
Yeah, I think that's an
I
error.
think you should, if you have the 7, maybe you could bet. Like,
Yeah, 7 could need some protection, sure.
yeah.
Right. And both of these should just fold. And now he finds out where he was, which is not valuable information. All right. Mike.
Okay. All right. 9-8 suited will have some raises there. It mostly folds on the charts. Let's assume, well, we know it's not going to get around, but if they do fold, deuces should raise. 9-6 would defend. So what's going to happen is 8-9 suited is probably going to, I don't know, limp or go
He's gonna,
two
he's
big
gonna,
blinds, I'm
you
guessing.
can feel it. You can feel the one big blind coming.
Okay, so they limp. It gets to the deuces. Assuming it gets to the deuces. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Um, so I think we've been, if I was in the deuces shoes here, and we've been at this table enough to see the kind of players that are here, I would just flat.
Mhm.
I think we can flat this pretty. I don't think I would ISO. If
Yeah.
these were, this was our first hand at the table and didn't know the players at all, I probably would just fold. I wouldn't even limp behind. You can, but I don't.
So
Yeah.
what's the lowest pair you're gonna overlimp, and what's your ISO?
ISOing,
Just pairs.
and again, if this was an like unknowns, so assuming we don't know anything about these players, ISOing probably sixes,
Okay.
and then considering limping like twos, threes, fours.
Okay. You
Um,
would, I misheard you then. You would have this in your overlimp range?
like I would consider it, but I
Okay.
probably would just fold it.
Okay, cool. I can see that.
So Jonathan Little says that, we should not be open limping any hands in cash games, but when someone else makes this mistake of limping, you can now profitably overlimp with lots of pairs, lots of suited connectors, and lots of suited aces. And when you do your pairs, you'd like to be deep enough to set mine, and you certainly are deep enough to set mine. And when you do those limp behinds, you want to limp behind at tables where you have not been seeing a lot of ISOing behind. And not only have you not seen a lot of ISOing behind, but this guy, when he did his ISO, he ISO'd to two big blinds, which you can easily call.
Yeah. So now that we have been at this table,
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this. I would limp this for sure. I would not
Yeah.
fold it.
Yep.
I would
This
not
is
ISO it either. I would not make it 4.5. I would just limp.
right. Now he ISOs because he's also seen how much this guy limps and has really discounted this guy's limping range.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's fine too. I think this is
That's
okay. I think
Yeah.
because we've also seen this guy in the hijack. He's been pretty fishy, so getting
Yeah.
him in position is a really good option.
The
Yep.
other thing is that he owns the button.
Yeah, he's definitely in that position in the hand. Right.
9-6 should fold, and 8-9 should call.
Yep. There we go.
So the 8-9 should check. Okay, they donk. I mean, if we want to get into the weeds with Nuffle strategy, I would just call here.
Yep. But he's not nuffling. He just looks at it and says, it's something and I have nothing.
So that is a question for you. So, and this is something that I was thinking about Nuffle. I think of Nuffle as being built around big blind defend,
Yeah.
big blind, then donk. So so big blind at that point has the widest range of what would be any spot in rake cash. Here we're in a different config, right? Because we've got a limper and then an ISO and then a call. So now
Yeah.
we have a more defined condensed range in villain 5 here. And I think a lot of the theory of Nuffles does apply here still, but I wonder if it doesn't apply as purely. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah,
Would
I
that make
think,
any sense?
yeah, no, I know exactly. Yeah, it totally makes sense to think about it in that way. And then the way I kind of look at it is that you are in position. So if this was, say, button versus big blind, which is, like you said, kind of built around that button big blind configure, or in position versus big blind
Yeah.
configuration. Here, I often, and again, this could be player dependent. And in this situation, if we had seen what's been going on at this table, I would assign basically the same big blind range to this limper caller. It wouldn't affect my strategy.
Okay, so I might, and I appreciate your perspective on this. So you're not taking the leap I am here, which is we are now working with a more condensed range.
No, I'm pretty much just kind of going with he's got a very similar range to a big blind just flat.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see your point.
Yep, and I'm gonna go the exact opposite. And my reasons, I have two reasons. The first reason is Nuffle is not a logical strategy. It's a strategy built from mass data analysis. So I don't mean it's not sensible. I mean, they didn't think of Nuffle by thinking about what do I think these guys are going to do and how are they going to respond. It was looking at mass data analysis of what that bet was. And from that, they created a logical and sensible counter strategy. That the data they mined was not of limp calls. Therefore, we have to decide that Nuffle applies. We have to decide not only does he have a similar range to the big blind, but that he has a similar donking strategy and a similar turn and river strategy, and we have no data to support that.
You know what? I'm going to be honest here. I think that Scotty is right. I think that there are
Oh,
pieces
don't
of
agree with
Knuckle
me
that we
yet. I
can
have another
apply here.
reason, Larry. Larry, wait. I haven't put enough nails in Mike's coffin. I had two reasons. So
Okay, go
don't
ahead. I'm
just give in
sorry.
on my first one.
I'm sorry to steal your thunder.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Can I call you back later? Thanks. Bye. Okay. All right, good. So my second reason is that I'm focused on the future. I want to know why Nuffle is censoring Facebook. But also, when you talk about whether their ranges are similar, the big blind calling range is much wider than the limp call range from any of these positions, even from a loose player, because they've got to first start with a hand that they want to limp, which is less than the big blind strategy, and then they fold out a bunch of them. The big blind is only calling one bet. It's a smaller bet. Their calling range is much wider than I think this guy's range is. All right, those are my reasons.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that we have to. I think that we. So to
Yeah,
me,
Mike.
to me, Knuckle is what happens when someone who's a data scientist in chasing poker greatness has crunched hundreds of thousands, if not millions of hands.
Yeah.
And worked out a counter. Now, and it's very specific to that super wide range of someone who's going to dunk.
Right.
This is a very different range. And we know when we look at solvers, ranges are everything, and it totally shifts. Now, I don't think that doesn't mean that lots of the principles of Knuckle can apply here. They can. And Knuckle is, I think, very effective.
Yeah.
I think it's a killer strategy. But I think we need to moderate it in this situation.
And then for this guy, in his particular hand, going for the ISO made sense. When this guy raises, he's raising, we think, some made hands and draws. Some, and some of the made hands could be pretty shitty. They could be ace 4, and 5-3. I have very few re-outs against those hands.
You know what?
And one of my re-outs against those hands is even dirty. I don't even have the deuce of hearts. And so I think this becomes a good fold for him. And for the 8-9 to have caught this, saying that 10-3-4 misses his ISO range, I think is actually pretty good. I don't think this is a donk. This is not a donk board and everything like that, but for him to actually say against this tight player's ISO range, 10-3-4 misses.
Yeah, this is some street poker.
Right. And if I'm wrong, he'll raise me and I'll fold and I'm done. And if I'm right, but it does hit him and he calls, I've got lots of cards on the turn I can barrel. So this is not terrible. I think his size is too big for that, maybe. Maybe. I don't know about that. All right. But it works. Larry, I think is next. Yes.
Okay. All right. Villain 5, you're open, and frankly, we should raise and take. That's not going to happen. So I imagine so check 7 maybe he's gonna do something dumb. Maybe 6.
I mean, he should just raise and take it, right?
Yeah, this should be a
That's what
raise and take. There's our dumb. Okay,
Right.
so. Hero fold, keep my fold. Okay, so. This is, I'm going to check this here. I don't know if this guy has a HUD, obviously, so I'm gonna check out a position. I'm gonna just press steal it.
So he checks behind.
Okay,
So he's playing king six on the button, kind of the worst way you could. You know, if someone made you play king six offsuit on the button in this situation, you know, this seems like to make the hand be profitable, you've got to be doing a lot of bluffing.
yeah,
You gotta
so
see
this is
that
what,
right there.
go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was
I
gonna
said you
say
gotta see
that,
that right there.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's not technically it's not a C bet from him because he was the caller, but yeah, he's got to be making more aggressive actions, which he's going to later in the day.
so that's an important lesson when you're playing against a 56, is that their range is statistically so much trash.
Mhm.
You need to exploit that, and you need to play, you should widen your, I think you should widen your C betting range, and
Yep.
you should widen your check raise.
Yep.
So, okay, so because now, we've got, I would think I have enough equity now to bet, and I would bet big here. I want to produce folds. I'm going to go P75 to pot.
Yep. And it's a believable bet. Makes total sense.
Yeah,
You would have played ace jack like this, king jack, lots of hands. Yep. So there's
okay, I would go bigger. This is fine.
Okay.
This guy's fucking, I love villain 3.
Yeah.
He's got a good Adderall contact, clearly.
Yeah.
So this is a call. And
Yeah.
we can even see the pure equities here, right? Well, it doesn't matter because.
Yeah, but because we don't put him at king six here.
Yeah, this is a pure call. This is a horrible fold.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a horrible fold. He's getting 25%. He's out of position. This is a horrible fold.
Right. Now, remember, we have not seen any of these hands yet from villain 3. This is going to matter.
Yeah, and not everybody on ignition is using the HUD.
Right. Even with the HUD, we don't see the hands.
True, but what you do see is VPIP at 59.
We know is, yeah, it's going to go up. All right. So that was Larry. Melanie, this is your hand.
Okay. 10, Jack 10 suited. That's a raise.
Yep.
Then
But he,
fold. 8-5 fold.
right? But he's going to call.
9-4 fold. 8-5 fold.
Yep. But he's going to call. We now, because that's how you get these VPIPs.
Oh, and 10 check just limped. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, the ace-6 could probably also limp. Or
Think that it's, I think the offsuit one is just a terrible one to take multi-way, even in position. I think this is I think
razor
you can
fold.
razor fold this, and I think both are right.
Then I would fold.
Yeah. We've seen these guys with their limps call raises, so the ISOs haven't worked that much. So maybe I want to have at least ace 10 here, but we'll see. Yeah, I decide that. I'm sure I thought about it for a while going, do I want to raise this one?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just getting carried away by seeing the cards. So I'm like,
Yeah.
ace-6 is better than 8-5. So
Yes. Yep.
But you're right. Okay, 5-3 should be folded, and
Yep.
10-4, well, probably is going to check it.
And see the flop.
King, check, queen.
Okay.
Villain 5 could.
Hold on. You get to keep talking. So Mike, you're going to control the, you're going to click buttons. And you're going to keep talking.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Yep. Where are we at?
All right. Now I'm going to go to Zoom and turn off my.
Okay. So 10-4, I believe they should check, but they might bet. for whatever reason, but they should check. 10, and if they check, then 10 check should bet.
Okay, I think Scotty thought he gave me
Yeah.
remote control and I don't have it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'll be back in a little bit. No worries, I don't think.
Yeah.
But
So we
Do
can
you
play
guys-
it hypothetically.
Okay. Uh, can I ask you guys if you think a situation last night I got angled,
Yeah, go ahead.
or should we wait till the end of the session? What do you think, Mike?
What was the question?
Is now a good time to, since we're kind of like in this pause space, is now a good time to ask you guys if you think a situation live I got angled, or should we wait till the end and just make this a break?
I mean, if we're kind of in a holding pattern, do it now.
Okay. So last night, I was direct left to a good player live. Clearly probably on the spectrum, but a very good player with very good live chops. I think Scotty's back. No, Scotty's working on some important
I am-
stuff.
Yes, I am back. Let me hit, yes, I am back. And I just gave, I had to hit a button to give my control and I didn't know that till here. But since we started with the story, let's do the story. And I will be, and Mike, you now have, you have control of my screen if you need it, and I'll be back in a minute anyway. So go on, Larry.
I'll wait to the end because, yeah, I'll wait to the end because I think Mike has control now.
Okay, so Melanie, yep, we are here on the 10-4, they check.
10-4 was checking.
Yep, they check.
Okay. 10 jack should bet.
What size?
Not more than half, I would say. Okay, they check.
And why and tell me why you like a bet here.
Well, everybody limped, which means the ranges are quite wide, which means that 10
And then
jack.
I'll be in the room over there doing the Zoom call. So if you need me for anything, just yell. That's where I'll be.
Okay. So, and because everybody limped and the ranges are possibly so wide, 10 check could be ahead of many hands. However, there's the danger of like some limping of king X off, queen X off. So I would try and bet my jack and see small, and see if I get any resistance.
Okay, all right, they checked.
10 check checked.
They did check.
Okay. 8-5 should check behind.
Okay. Good. Am I getting a delay here? Okay, there we go.
Okay, 10-4 should check.
All right.
10 check. I don't know, either they bet small on the turn again, or they okay, good. That was a half pot. Half pot?
That was a
Yeah.
pot size bet.
That was a pot-sized bet, okay. Which didn't help, right? Because now villain 3 hit his 5, so he's going to call that.
He does call. What do we think of his call?
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. Yeah. Okay, villain 5 folds. Turn is a 2. I think. Interesting. I don't know. Like, I mean, you could go for. I don't know if somebody calls, and checks. I mean, yeah, you could. I would go for it again and bet, but I'm not sure about the size.
So let's think about, so in
Question.
terms of the size here. Oh, yeah. You wanted to say something, Isaac? No, he didn't. Okay.
Well, yeah, I
So-
was just gonna say, like, this is where I get myself into trouble. And I normally bet pot on this one, and I normally get called.
So here's my
Okay.
here's my thought process here, and then each person can do their corrections. I don't think we can't get an answer from the solver here. But if I've got 10 jack here, before I make any bet or choose size, I want to think about what is my objective. All right. So first thing is this hand a hand that needs to bluff to win? No,
No.
right? It doesn't need to bluff to win. There are hands that he can perceive that he
Right.
can conceivably have, like he can have a heart, he can have 10 with it, he can have 10-8 of hearts, something like that. He can have an ace that's just sitting there, you know, stubborn. So I do not have to bet if it goes check, check. So I don't have
Okay.
to, I don't have to bluff. Now, if I want to bet here, am I betting? There are only two reasons, the three reasons. I can bet to try to get a better hand to fold, which means to try to get a queen to fold or to try to get ace jack to fold. Those are the only better hands that are really out there that might fold. The king is not folding. How much do you need to bet to get a queen to fold here?
Over pot.
Okay. So if it's going to be a bluff, it needs to bet that big. The next thing you say that you might look at is how much do I need to bet to get a worse hand to call? So if I'm not bluffing it, if I'm betting it for value, what's my size?
Much smaller, because otherwise he's going to
Right.
smell it.
Right. And then there's one other reason that you would bet here, which is not a good reason, but it is a reason that people make, which is I'm afraid if I check, he will bet and he will bluff me off my equity. Right? That's what we know people do this. We know people bet here about half pot. They bet somewhere between 3.5 and 4.5 in order to set the price for what this guy's going to call with he's going to call with a queen, but I don't have to call a bigger bet from his value. He's going to only call with a king for those. But also when he has a bluff, I mean, when he has nothing, he's going to fold to that. Like if he just has a naked 10, but if I check, he might bet his naked 10 and I'd have to fold, right? That's people's thoughts. What I have learned, I believe that this is correct, is that third reason is bad, or that fourth reason. The last reason is a bad reason to bet. Is a better poker play when you've got a marginally made hand is to check, let him bluff or bet, and evaluate based on your odds, your read of the player, and your poker skill and your poker experience. That to try to avoid to bet to avoid hard questions is not a profitable poker strategy. So if we eliminate that last one from our arsenal, I would think that trying to get called by a worse hand here with third pair, second kicker is not great.
And
So the small
although
bet goes
although
out.
there was so much check check and just like very passive play.
Yep. But remember, he's not only got to have the worse hand, he's also got to call the bet. So both those have to happen. So in my mind, you also block, by the way, you block the nuts. You block the ace 10 and the 9-10 for the nuts.
Yeah.
That's good. And you block some two pairs. So that's good too. So if you wanted to turn this into a bluff, if you decide you wanted to turn this into a bluff and bet big, your 10 is a really good card for blocking those. And I think given all the checking, you have so much showdown value here relative to it that I don't think you need to turn this into a bluff.
Yeah, so bet small in that case.
No, I would check for that reason.
You would check. Okay.
Because the two reasons to bet small is to try to get called by a worse hand, and it's really hard to find worse hands that are going to call. Right? And to set your price. And I've said that setting your price is not good poker. So that leaves you with check because you're marginally made and turning the jack into a bluff.
And now, hypothetically, so we check and within 3 bets twice pot.
he wins.
Well, we fold.
And I fold to I fold to a 2x pot bet here.
Yeah.
And I call up to, I mean, I call a half pot bet without thinking about it. I call a
Mhm.
3/4 pot bet by thinking about it. And I think about a pot size bet. And I leave myself open to be exploited that way. But I don't only do this with 10 jack,
No.
you know.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
I've done anybody else want to do a speech about this hand? Because we don't know that anything I've said is right. I just said that that's my thought process.
I concur. It's
Yeah,
great coming from here.
Totally on board. When they limp, I mean, they just have so many hands.
Right.
So they have, I mean, and we can see, they have all the way down to 8-5 suited at least. So the number of combos of hands that miss this flop, that miss everything here, that you can beat, yet when you bet, they're going to call when you're beat
Right.
and fold when you have a better hand. So now you like to check and give them an opportunity to put money in with all of those really bad hands.
Right. And sometimes you get bluffed off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they go with a big enough size, yes.
Right. Now, one other thing. I want to change one thing about this hand, and then all of a sudden I think your block bet gets really good, Melanie, which is change it from the Jack 10 to the Queen 10. Because the Queen 10 now can be the small bet by Queen 10 can be called by all the jacks, including ace jack.
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
now your block bet functions properly. Because for a block bet to be a good bet, it's got to sometimes get called by worse. And while we identify, some worse here, I mean, he can have worse jacks here, that they do exist. But
Yeah. But Scotty, what if villain three, I mean, just from like the player tendency, what if he was a guy who checked down
right.
versus a lot?
He goes for the check. Yeah. He checks, and the 8-5 goes for the bluff. Note the size. I told you in advance what I was going to do to a 75% pot bet, right?
Yeah, you'd call it.
That's right, but he doesn't. And that,
Okay. But like one question, if you would know that villain number three checks it down a lot on the river.
Yeah.
And then like wouldn't it make more sense as villain one to like try and bet small to get him to fold?
you mean here on the river?
Mm-hmm.
No, what makes sense for villain one is to check call and take the bluff. That's what he did wrong.
Yeah.
He
But
wants,
what if
you want him to bet 75% here.
but what
With-
if villain three never bluffs? Like he doesn't like he's not capable of doing that on the river, if you know that.
Yeah. And remember, and I believe that I'm not being influenced by the cards here. Is what I said when I described the thing about the hand is the hand blocks the nuts, which is good there. And I said I was going to call a half pot, a 3/4 pot, and a pot size bet I was going to think about. And at 2x pot, he just gets to win. He just beats me when he bets 2x pot.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Okay.
hope that I made that decision not knowing that he had 8-5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But in this particular case, yeah, if you had bet small, I don't know that he would have done this. He might have. Because also there's other people who also sniff out. Remember, there are people out there who specifically sniff out block bets on the river and raise them. But that's their modus op. That exists, and that exists in our player pools. That's one of the things that we've seen in our analysis in our 3-bet pot in our river raise analysis. I'm looking at my hands, is that we've seen a lot of people who, not a lot, we've seen people sniffing out block bets. All right, moving on, Stefan. And all we saw is him win. And also his mood now is now starting to change. He is starting to go on winner's tilt here, I believe.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Raise, fold. I think if under the gun raises under gun +1 or hijack should fold. Fold. King 2 maybe could call. And small blind folds and big blinds. Big blinds always calls.
Yeah.
So
you
yeah.
should- yeah. Ace 9 is 1 too wide in the low jack, but it's not an egregious error. Your low jack opening range I didn't know about this ace 5 in this rake structure because I learned the NL50 rake structure, but ace 9 is there. But if he does it, fine. Given that he's a VPIP of 10 and a PFR of 5, I expect him to fold.
Yes. Of course.
Now that he's folded and this guy's sitting there with a 5-4
Yeah,
suited.
61, yeah. Maybe he could limp or maybe raise, I don't know, maybe limp.
Yeah. He shouldn't limp. We don't want to have any open limp strategy. That's our best play. I wouldn't be surprised to see him limp, but I definitely, he's not folding this hand under any circumstances. You don't get to a VPIP of 61 folding
No.
5-4 suited. He
Yeah,
goes for the
yeah,
raise.
that's right.
And notice one other thing. He's varying his raise size.
Yeah.
We've seen him do 3s and we've seen him do 2s and we saw him do a 3.5.
Yeah.
So that's another note that we have on him. Once he raises,
He will fold.
right? I fold. Yep.
Fold, and yeah, cool.
Right. And the 4 deuce here that's normally fold should be a call to a 2 big blind raise instead of a 3 big blind, instead of a
Yeah, yeah.
2.5. All it takes is that, I mean, even to a 2.25, this is a fold. But to a 2, this is a call. All right.
Oh,
Who wants it more?
Yes. I think I should kind of say I have like a range advantage here, so I think I should don't bet like 1/3 in here. See.
You're talking about as villain 3, right? You're saying.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. He should check, and then
Yeah.
you should bet.
Yep. I agree.
It was a little bit okay. So what do you think about that bet size? It's just
It's
too
good.
much. It's good,
No,
right?
on this board really favors his range over
Yeah.
their range. He's allowed to make big bets here.
Right. Yeah.
The fact that there is locked up equity here, Mike, you know this board better than me. I think this board is so favors him that he's allowed to bet this. He probably even has overbets on this board. Maybe not with the locked up equity.
I don't think overbets from that position, but
Okay.
yes, it's a very high frequency C bet.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. There aren't overbets from
Yeah.
the early positions. The early positions don't have the overbets. The late positions do.
Yeah.
Okay, but he still has big bets. So yeah, this is
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, easy
Don't
peasy.
you bet smaller with the range advantage?
So the simplified thing is range advantages lets you bet a lot. Nut advantage lets you bet bigger. When you bet range, you rarely bet large for, your full range, although there are boards where you bet large range. So if we look at this, the nuts on this board are the aces, kings, queens, and tens. We have all of them. He's bet off some of those. So we have the nut advantage there. The ace jack, which we have, which he's raised. No, he hasn't raised his ace jacks away. And the jack 9 suiteds that we both have. And then we just own so many of the cards. He has to fold so much of his range here. We have such a range advantage.
Yeah.
There are boards where if you look at it, you go, nut advantage makes you bet big, range advantage makes you bet a lot. And when you bet everything, you rarely bet large, but there are exceptions. When you have such a range advantage, you can bet large and frequently. So let's look at this board. Let's just look at this board and ignore our hand and see what the sizes are. Mike, you want to put that up?
Okay.
Because doesn't he want to get called by worse if he has pocket queens?
Let's find out. I mean, yes, there is that tension. If you have ace jack here, you'd like him to, you'd like him to have a hand.
Staying.
But also remember that when you've got those massive hands, you want to play for stacks, and you can't play for stacks by betting small. So when you bet big, you're targeting him to
Okay.
have a big part, the good part of his range that you have beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's see. So this board is just for the hijack, is not a range bet board. And he's got 12% big bets. Mostly he's small betting. But his big bet exists. And let's see what a hand like pocket queens does. So pocket queens has a strategic tension in all ways. It does some checking to trap. It bets big to get money from there, and it bets small to get money from a different part of their range. So all three are true. It wants to do all three things. Isaac asked a question earlier in the chat. What is winner's tilt? Winner's tilt. So when people start losing a lot of hands, you see them playing too many hands and making too many Hail Marys to try to win it back. That's the usual tilt we see. But when somebody is winning all the time, they start to feel invulnerable. And that's another form of tilt called winner's tilt. Oh, and Larry answered this already. So why do I have to talk? Sorry about that, Larry. You
That's
already
all
answered.
right.
All right.
Good to get a different perspective.
Like sometimes I'll play on a $500 table and I'll get up to like almost $1,500, but I can never get past that $1,500 mark. I start going down to like 12 and 11 and 1,000, and then I stop. But it seems like
So-
that's my curse. Like I don't know why.
So
Are
there's two
you playing
possibilities.
online?
No, I'm normally playing in live,
Okay.
and that happens to me quite often. Anytime I get deep stack, I start losing it off, and I'll try to stay in there but I just lose it anyway. So
Gotcha. So when
I
you
don't
play
know.
live, do you wear a shirt?
Yeah.
That's your problem. That's your problem. You would do much better without the shirt. But seriously, with a real answer, you probably have a too small sample to conclude what you're concluding. It's hard to get enough hands in live play to where that pattern is real as opposed to perceived. Now, if it is a real pattern, it's possible that when you're playing early, the other people don't know how you play, and they're good enough to figure out how you play as you get better. So they're now playing better against you. That's possible. It's possible that you play differently with a very deep stack when you have 1,500 than you do when you have, 500 or 750. But I suspect the real answer is the sample size is too small, and what you're seeing as a pattern is a statistical aberration. But
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scotty.
the last statement is, but the way to test this is take a look and see if your play is changing. If you're playing the same as you are before, it's probably not that they have figured this out, because you're probably playing at stakes where they are not so good that it takes them 90 minutes to figure out your play and start beating you.
Like for example, like
That's
I was up to like $1,400 on a $500 table, and I had king queen diamond, and the flop I raised, somebody called, everybody else folded. I was early position, and middle position called, and the flop came king deuce deuce. I had king queen diamonds.
Yep.
I didn't know what to do, so I c bet small, and then
fine.
He re-raised me like almost $150, and he had about $400 left. He had about 250 after that. I ended up making the fold, but I don't know if I made the correct decision. But anyways, that hand put me on tilt after he showed me what he had.
Yeah, I would think.
He
Let me
had
see. So
jack.
go one question here. How much did you bet on the flop? What size? I mean,
I think I did about a third.
Right, which was how much
I
money?
think I did about a third.
Which,
About I think it was maybe $35
$35
into.
raises you to 150. So that's not, and behind that, he's got another 250 left.
Yeah.
I would think that with king, queen there, and, was there any, was Jack, king, deuce, deuce, was it rainbow or was there a flush draw possible on the board?
No, it was rainbow.
Uh,
I put him on
Hard
like
hand.
ace deuce or ace queen. I'm like,
it's a hard hand. That's a hard hand. If you call that check raise, I think you are committed to calling to the river. So I think your whole decision is made
that's
then.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, you fold then, or you take it to the river. If there's a flush draw on the board, maybe
And then
it's,
he showed Jack 8,
yep. You get bluffed sometimes.
and then
I don't think that has to do with,
I moved.
so that hand is not
I
a
don't
tip.
know. That hand put me on tilt.
If it puts you on tilt, then that may be where that may be why you're losing more money after that, is being on tilt. If you feel yourself on tilt, and we all do, everybody goes on tilt. Man, not everybody. Everybody I know goes on tilt. That is the time to wait for your big blind, get up, sit out around, walk outside.
Yeah.
And think about your hands and think about, do I want to be here and do I want to play poker now? And if you want to play poker now, when you go back in and say, then I want to play good poker, and reset your mind.
I think let's talk, can we talk
Well-
about that idea a little bit, Scotty? Because I think that's something I need to
I'm
know,
sorry.
because, that's all right. I kind of interrupted you, no worry.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just reiterate that plan, because clearly I'm playing a lot live and this will happen to me.
Mhm.
All right. I get sucked out. And I got filtered. I'm being cut off.
Mhm.
Play, go back to 100 big blinds,
Mhm.
rebuy. Wait till the UTG.
Mhm.
And then say, I'm taking a break. Walk away, sit out the full orbit.
Yep.
Okay.
At least one orbit.
And then let's talk about, if you don't mind me
Okay.
asking, let's talk about what your decision criteria, what your thought process is when you take a walk outside. Or tell me what your thought process would be when you walk outside.
Since
Are you talking to me?
I'm
Or
asking
Scotty?
Scotty.
okay, so since I am not playing for
Okay.
my rent, so I don't have to put in a certain number of hours a week. If you're playing for your rent, you need to get by these things and, and decide, is this the table I belong at? Are they bad players in the sucker, right? But I'm not
Yes.
playing for my rent. So I can leave anytime. So this is my thought process. Go outside, take a walk, think about that hand, think about whether I played it right or wrong, depending on how it came out. If I played it wrong, think about what's right. If I played it right and it just sucked out, go. Remind yourself what Jonathan Little says. This is a child's card game. I have chosen to spend my time and my money playing a child's card game. Why am I upset? This is part of it. Breathe. Then think about the table. How bad is the reason I got sucked out on? Because this is just a natural kind of, this happens in poker. He's got a flush draw. I've got a set. We've got it all in. That's what happens. Or are people playing really bad and I know how to exploit? Like, no, this guy is playing 10-4 offsuit and I've got aces and he hit his 10-4. When it's that case, and I think this is where I should be spending my whole night. All right, this is what I signed up for. This is what I want. I want to get sucked out on like this so that I can get up, because that's how over time I win the money with
Yeah.
people who play 10-4 offsuit. I'm not leaving.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing, Scotty, which I think is the most important criteria, is you're asking yourself, do I have a skill edge? And is that skill edge significant enough that it's worth my time to sit back down, even though I probably have some after effects of it?
Yeah. And also with that, not do I have a skill edge? Do I have a skill edge now tonight, or have I fucked that up? Am
Yeah.
I playing my C game, and is my C game not better, only a tiny bit better than their D game? And if it is, can I play my A game tonight? Can I clear my head and play my A game tonight?
Yeah, so I think you've got some really good points there, and I
Right.
appreciate that. I think the main point I'm taking away is step the fuck away, take the
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Right. And now here's one more strategy. How do you get from your C game to your A game? And the way I do it, if I can, I'm not claiming my A game is so great, but I mean, everyone has their own A game. My A game is my massive 1.5 big blinds per 100 win rate. You know, so it's not so great. But what can I be happy about? Because tilt comes from frustration and anger, and I want to beat these fuckers. They don't deserve it.
Yeah,
And my A game comes from math is true.
yeah,
So
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
how do I remind myself math is true? By going, my odds at this were 90, you know, my odds of winning the hand were 60%, or my odds of winning the hand were 75%, or whatever the number was. I should be doing this all night. Okay, that's what I want to do. Smile, and you do the actor's trick, literally, of smiling. Physically smiling makes your body happy.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is another one. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, you know, you do the method actor's trick of getting yourself back in that mood, away from the table. You remember it's not personal. My goal is not to beat this guy. It's not to get this guy back. It's not to make myself look smarter than the other people at the table. It's to make money playing poker. Is this a profitable place to play poker and making money? Yeah, it is. Great. I'm enthusiastic. I'm smiling. This is where I want to be. Let's go. Oh, wait, but I got to stop at the ATM on the way because I'm broke. All right, let's go.
Well
And
put.
Melanie points out something that I think is really, really wise. Sometimes I really have to laugh when somebody bluffed me big. I was ahead and it worked and they showed me. Yeah, yeah. When they show you, they're trying to insult you. And when you look at it, you should look and go, thank you. Thank you so much for this massive piece of information you have given me for free. I appreciate it, my new best friend. Let's play poker together all the time. You are a fun player.
Can I say?
Yeah, go. I've talked enough.
So afterwards, I did go outside, and then I thought he was a donkey after that. So I did a seat change, and I went to where I was after him. Um,
Good.
Somebody got up, and I got that seat, but then he ended up getting me like 2 or 3 more pots. Like he got me for like $200 or $300 more, or maybe a little more after that. And like no matter what I did, like I just couldn't beat that guy. Like I literally had king queen again, like right afterwards suited. He raised, I 3-bet him, and then he called. I 3-bet him pretty big too, like to
Mhm.
$75, and he called, and the flop came like ace, jack, 5. And he checked, and I think this is where I messed up, but I checked back, and then the turn was a 3, and then he checked me. That's where I bet $100, and then he thought about it. He's like, "Do you even have anything?" And then he called, and then the Lex card was a 3, and I bet even bigger, like $250. And he called. He had 5, 6 diamonds.
Yep. So when they make many
So
things, we see this in our hand reviews visibly. Many of the mistakes they make still allow them to win pots. You know,
mhm.
ace king only beats 10 deuce offsuit. What is it? 58% of the time, 58-42, ace king versus 10 deuce offsuit, something like that.
I think, yeah, it's probably like 65,
Maybe
35.
65. Is it 60? I'm going to take the under on
Oh.
65.
Yeah, maybe like.
Yeah,
Was it
you're
10 deuce?
10 deuce offsuit against
I'll run
ace
it real
king
quick.
offsuit. And you can give the 10, give him one suit, run that. I'm gonna take the under on 65. But to answer your point is, yeah, these individual hands happen. If you have an edge in poker, that edge realizes itself over hundreds of hands and thousands of hands and tens of thousands of hands. It doesn't realize itself over 10 hands or over one night. Now, somebody who's as good as Jonathan Little or Mark Goons, their edge is going to be, Skate says 70%. I say 60%, 62%. Their edge might be so large that it cuts down the edge. But your edge and my edge is not that big. assuming we have an edge at all, assuming that we are some of the best players at the table, which we might not be.
Yeah.
All right, fine, 68-31. Be that way. Fine, I owe you a cookie.
Isaac, can I give you a quick recommendation? So
Sure. Please.
you probably have a stop loss and you say, when I've lost this much money, I am going to leave. I would say it makes sense
Mhm.
to also have a win stop, but there's another term for it, which I don't remember. But also set a number that if you win, you'll leave. So you're talking, you were up 3 buy-ins because the buy-in was $500.
3 buy-ins.
So,
Yeah.
so maybe
Twice
3
that. 3
buy-ins
times that happened to me.
is your win stop. So when you go up $300,
Okay.
you walk away. And that doesn't mean you don't stop playing that night. You leave that table, you walk away, you take 45 minutes, a half an hour, maybe eat something, whatever, smoke a cig. And then you decide if you want to go back. But having a win stop and a stop loss makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
your reason for that, Larry, is just to battle tilt, to battle winners tilt and losers tilt, right?
Yes.
Not any other strategy. Yeah, okay. Sure, sounds good. I want to look at one other thing on this hand before we move on. If you're still there, Mike, put up that one that you did where it was the same hand. It was king 10, king queen, but you changed the 10 to a 5. Because I thought there was something really important that showed real quick. You still there? Are you there with that one, Mike? All right, Mike's not there for that. Okay. Then we'll go on with this. What it was when he went to the when he took away the straight on the board possibility, so that you can't have a jack 9 or an ace jack already, so there's no locked up equity. When this was king queen 5, all those small bets turned into 50% bets, and the majority of our bets were 50% when there are 2 Broadway cards and 1 small card. When we're in the hijack and they're in the big blind, just because we own that board so much better than them, so we can bet big. Okay. Let's go on to next hand. And I believe the next hand is skate. Skate, this is your hand.
All right.
Oh, you
Right,
see it?
Okay, yeah, so here we go, my mic, okay. So, ace 10 off could open, 6s. 6s could, I believe they could fold, I guess, and then ace queen is gonna 3-bet, should 3-bet.
Yep.
Depending on the size that they open to.
Can 6s 3-bet here at all from the small blind? Do they have any 3-bets?
No, if anything, they're gonna have maybe, they can have possibly calls, but no, I think it's gonna start at 9s.
Okay, let's see. I think 6s are going to go a sliver of 3-bets, a sliver of calls, and a bunch of folds. But let's just see. Button to 2.5, small blind. No, more than slivers. Yeah, 6s are more robust than you and I thought. There.
Okay.
Yep. Half raise, quarter call, some folds. So it's Neapolitan. You're not wrong on anything. If you folded this 100% of the time, you'd be fine. If you called it 100% of the time, you'd be fine. If you raised it 100% of the time, you'd be fine. All right, let's see what he does. So, but instead, Willem 3, who is on winner's tilt at this point, raises, and he raises to 2. Now we have not seen any of his hands except that one crazy 9-6 offsuit way long ago, but we've seen his play. We've seen him vary his open size, and so we have a belief about that. And we've seen that he's in too many hands. So we are waiting to play hands against him. This is not what we're waiting for, deuce 5 offsuit. Once he raises, the ace 10 should skate.
The ace 10 should. I think it could, I actually am not very confident on what I should do with ace 10 here versus early. Yeah,
So
I actually, I don't know.
It's a fold. I think exploitatively, I think he should be 3-betting him the whole time because of this guy's VPIP.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wanted to say fold. I just didn't want to seem like an idiot, so I was kind of
No.
stuck.
So here's GTO. Even against a 2 big blind raise, GTO is a fold at ace 10. I think this guy should 3-bet him 100% of the time, given his given his PFR of 32 and the way we've seen him play. Without seeing his cards, just
Okay.
the way we've seen him play. If I have ace 10 here, I'm going to 3-bet him, and I think he should. Let's see
Yeah,
what-
I get on board with that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd rather ace jack in case he is opening
Sure.
hands like that, but whatever.
He makes the worst choice in a GTO perspective. And in an exploitative perspective, it's not, I think the best choice is a 3-bet, but his call is not terrible against it. I mean, this chart is based on this opening range, and this is not his opening range. We know that.
Yeah, he's taking the passive approach, but it's, I mean,
Right.
it's the worst, but it's not bad.
But now that he's here, sixes.
Okay, now sixes. I mean, they don't have, over 100 big blinds. I mean, I just don't think they're deep enough to set mine if they wanted to mine, so fold.
So they're deep enough to set mine numerically. The reason they might not want to set mine is that they're out of position, so it's hard to realize their set mine value. Because remember, it's
Yeah.
only 1.5 big blinds to do. He's made it to 2. It's 1.5, and you've got 30 times that here.
Well, yeah, 15, yeah, the
Yeah,
15
1.5.
times their base
You've got
size,
50,
but
you've got 50 times what you need for it. So
I mean,
you're
yeah, but
big set mining land.
I mean, for me, like, I want more tips, so I would rather be, I mean, yeah,
50?
you are, I mean,
He is a lot.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
it is.
But you are out of position. And you're not closing the action. So
Yeah.
do you want to squeeze it ever?
Squeeze it ever. No, because I don't think it's gonna be harder to play post flop, so no.
I don't want to squeeze against these two guys because the one thing we've seen already from these two guys is that both these guys are calling really wide. And if my squeeze doesn't get through very often, I'd rather call it and set mine.
Yeah, that's
But
a better
against
point.
normal players, this might be an okay squeeze. All right, let's see what he does.
Okay.
Calls. Now you're villain 2.
Okay, now here I think we should squeeze, and well, even considering what you said before, if they're gonna call, I mean, regardless, you wanna, you're not gonna let that disincentivize you. So,
I'm right.
I mean, this is a mandatory squeeze, so let's go around. We're gonna go +2, 12.
12. Yep.
Maybe a little bit more since, yeah, 12.
Yeah. 12 is the straight up Jonathan Little number.
Mhm.
And I think in this case, since we've seen these guys are willing to call squeezes and we don't mind any folds, let's go bigger.
15.
Yeah, let's go 15. Let's consider 18. And
I
go
would
15.
I would consider 18 one.
Let's go, but minimum of 12. 16. Yes, I love this guy.
It's a good player. I think 12 is too small, frankly.
Yeah, I like this guy.
But I shouldn't pre-flop, please. Oh my god.
And this is great. This is great. And now, Isaac, I want you to look at this and see. You realize how terrible this
I'm
is,
looking.
right, as a play. That is a terrible play. Then 2 folds come, right?
Scotty, maybe point out for Isaac on the player where the equities are.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I was going to do.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Oh, this is a terrible play. And yet he's got
Yeah.
37% to win. Trump only had 27% to win in 2016.
you're on a roll
Yeah.
today, Scotty.
But this is going to happen. This is going to happen more than a third of the time. This ace queen is going to lose this thing. And what he's got to be thinking is, what he's got to be thinking is,
Mhm.
and especially if the board is ace 8-9, and that's how he loses, he's going to lose a bunch of money on ace 8-9. There are
Yeah.
one thing if he just totally misses, but he can lose 84 big blinds here easily against this hand. And then he's got to reload and go, great, because over time,
Yeah.
in this play I win, and overtime may not happen tonight.
Can I ask a question here?
And let me say 4 more words that I
Sure.
said before, just to emphasize here, which is, and the thing you've got to do, and it's hard to do, and I don't claim I can do it, is not only reload and play, is be happy about it. Go, I want to be playing against this guy. This is where I want to be. Okay.
Yeah.
Law of large numbers.
Mm-hmm.
What were you saying? And Larry, there was something else you wanted to say.
Can
though,
you
that I-
roll back to villain 1 with cards, please? Okay, so
Yeah.
this is my forever question, but sometimes I need to level set this. Multi-way to this squeeze size. Do you guys think we have implied odds to set mine?
No.
Okay, so then I made a mistake last time
No.
because I called the situation. No, well, it's
Here's
different.
why.
I was about 150 big blinds effective.
Yeah. Here's why. I was screaming that he had that having 50 to 1 behind with his 74 for 1.5, he's got to set mine. Because how often does this guy 3-bet? Well, it turns out at least this time. This guy's also been playing tight, so I think you can feel that this is not coming very often, but it came this time. Now it's 14.
Can
So
you go
he's not
back so we can see his
intended-
pure odds here?
His pure odds are 31%, but that's because nobody has a pair bigger than his.
Yeah,
This goes
Um,
down when this is
yeah.
5-8s, which it often is, right? One of these guys with a pair, so he's really got to hit a set, and he's out of position to 2 players. And his and although set over set isn't that we're not that worried about it, we get more and more worried about set over set the more players who are in.
You have a very good point. Our equity
There's only 2
utilization is compromised because we're totally out of position.
Yeah.
And stack depth at 100, he's got a broken stack.
Yeah.
And that's a big consideration. Let me
And-
just okay, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. And this is huge because this 3-bet never gets to 16 in normal GTO unless you have these things going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So final question. Let's assume we're at 100 big blinds effective in this hand.
Hmm.
What about 12 bigs?
Now you're getting now let's look at the number. So he raises to 12, that's 10 more. Okay? 10
Yeah.
more. I've got and I've got 98 here.
Yeah.
I'm getting 10 to 1. 10 to
Yeah,
1.
You're in the you are 10 to 1. So
I'm
you're in the
getting-
sweet spot, you think?
Yeah, in the old days, it was 10 to 1, 15 to 1, and 20 to 1 were the numbers before we had solvers. If I
Yeah,
remember.
I have to go back because
Yeah.
that was
And it
before
might
my
have been
time
10
and I need to go back because I think those are effective
Right.
online.
And it might have been 10 to 1 in position and 15 to 1 out of position. I don't know. I'm making these numbers up. I want to make that
Yeah.
clear. But they were there. And so when you're getting close to 10 to 1, you're certainly going to start thinking about it and then go, how do they play? And like this, how many players am I against? The fact that it's multi-way, you go, well, when I hit my set, it makes it more likely that someone's going to call me. Yes. It makes it more likely I'm going to be set over set. Yes. Maybe those 2 balance out. So I don't know the answer to that, but I do know
Yeah,
the
I'm
answer.
gonna have to look into this more because I
I think
think
this
that
is a
is a little
fold.
wide last night here.
Right. Now, let's see what happens. Okay. This is Skate's hand. Skate.
All
You have a
right.
ma-
So 6 should have called.
No, 6s should fold. Well,
No.
oh yeah. 6s should have called. Absolutely. Yes. 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 6s are going on tilt.
Mhm. All right, let us continue the story, and let's go about 33, which is gonna be somewhere around like 50 c-bet like 12 big blinds, 13.
Sure. Okay. I like that. And now let me give you one argument against it. And both of these are true, which is Mark Goons's argument, which is in 3-bet pots, he is going to check range out of position. Just a simplified, in 3-bet pots, I check range out of position and I bet, a third to a half in position. Okay. So either,
Okay.
let's see which one he does. Both make sense. He goes for the insultingly tiny bet.
Hmm.
And he does it to a guy who we know continues really wide, but nobody knows yet that this guy attacks small bets. Let's see if he does. Clearly what his correct thing is, he should have folded long ago and he should fold now.
Wow.
Depending on what this ace queen does, he's either the best player in the world right now or one of the worst when we see what happens with this, because he intentionally kept this guy wide. I don't think he knew how wide he kept him, but he bet small enough to keep this guy super wide. And when you get somebody super wide, you often have to call down ace high. All right.
All right. So, I mean, because they called ace queen, we picked up equity.
Yep.
Now my question to myself is to you guys is what, like, you want to know if we're gonna keep on betting?
Yep.
If
And
we
how-
should.
Because both those questions are huge in this pot. This is
Well,
interesting hand.
I mean, I don't considering how small we won in the flop. I'm not sure what we should do on the turn. Well, yeah, we did go small, so they can't continue wide. So yeah, let's continue here. Let's go. I mean, I don't like the spot yet. Let's go. I guess we're gonna have to go like somewhere around like 15, 20, and then if they call, give up. Yep.
Right. And here's the problem with this hand right now, which is if you make any size bet on the turn that gets called, you don't have enough left in your river shove to get somebody to even fold pocket nines.
Hmm.
Right? Because let's say you bet half pot. Let's say you bet even a third of the pot here, which is going to be 18, right? Yeah, something like 18. Okay.
Yeah.
You bet 18. That means 36 more is in the pot. That puts the pot at about 90. And there you are with 58, 57 into 90. You're getting no folds. So with the pot being this big, you don't have a river bluff left if you bet. If you check, you have a river bluff left, but checking is really scary here. So you picked up equity, so you can bet on. So I'm just talking about the size of your bet. So you've made the decision, and I think it's a reasonable one of saying, I'm going to bet one more time, and I'm not going to bet the river. I'm going to let it go because I don't have it. That's maybe not a bad choice. The other choice is maybe I picked up equity, and so I'm going to jam. That's the other choice. I think the worst choice is I picked up equity, therefore I'm going to bet about half pot, and then I'm going to jam the river for less than half pot.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, those are, I mean, yeah, some good points. I mean, the last one is kind of conflicting with, because the bet check bet line is the most bluffed line of poker. So
yeah,
if people, I mean, I'm pretty sure, most people have an idea of that. So, yeah.
Yep.
So
And
out of the,
it's scary to jam. It's really scary to jam this hand here, isn't it?
It is. It's terrifying.
Really scary.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, we know he's not going to call, right? I mean, he shouldn't. I mean, definitely. We know he's not going to call with the good shot to 7.
You don't know what he had.
No. So
He can have a team.
So he goes for this tiny bet to keep the guy wide and gives himself enough that he has decent size
Yeah, he's setting up a pot size
river
shove.
bluff. It's still gonna be smaller than pot size though,
Good point.
right? So. it's- And this guy smells it and he smells it and he picked up equity.
Three poker.
This is what winner's tilt looks like.
I think it's a bad play turned into a good play.
And now here's the one thing that we're saying is if you're going to be making, so this guy made the mistake of calling with some 6/8s and things where we said he needs to bluff. The one thing this guy seems to be doing right is this is a really bad idea to be playing 8-9 in this position. It's a really bad idea to raise it to 2 big blinds. Everything is bad about this. This is a really bad idea. But if someone said you have to make this really bad idea, I'm going to make you play this, and you're faced with this, that's a really good play.
Yeah, going back to the CLP,
Yeah.
with Bart, I believe something along the lines of the same bet, flop turn is
Yep.
usually going to indicate a weak hand.
Yep.
Or a weak draw. Yeah.
Yep. It's
Mhm.
just weak. Yep. And he takes it away from him, and it works. He doesn't call with his 7 outs, with what he believes are 7 outs. He's actually ahead, but he should believe that his ace is probably good, and his jack is definitely good. And those 7 outs gives him 14, 18%. He needs 25. He won't have much behind for implied odds, and he has to fold. And now this guy has 150 big blinds, all from naked and perhaps stupid aggression, maybe, but certainly naked,
Definitely naked.
right?
If there's anybody not wearing a shirt while he's playing poker, it's 1-3.
It's still in 3, yeah. Okay. And we still have not seen the showdowns, but we've seen how he plays again, but we've seen the aggression. We do not believe all the hands were real. We don't know which ones they were, and we don't know. We have no idea that they're this bad.
The only
Right.
indication we have is his VPIP, which is yelling in our face. This guy has got sometimes trash.
His VPIP includes trash, and we've seen him attack the small, but we've seen him attack.
Yes, so he is
So two things.
Charlie Carell's BSTI dream come true.
So we want to keep this in mind when we finally get a hand that isn't 10-7 offsuit. I don't know how our VPIP is up to 32. I don't remember being in that many hands. All right. Here we go. That was Larry. That was Skate. So Isaac, this hand is yours.
Okay. All right. Fold 10-7.
Good.
Fold Queen 6. Fold King 2. Fold.
Right. so
Maybe
this should
limp
fold
the
out.
small blind.
Better to not have a limping range in cash games with a drop. If you're in Texas, maybe play it that way when they do a timed game. But for us, with rake per hand, just better to just fold them. And
Just
best
fold the 5.
and the very best thing to do in a game in
Okay.
California where there's a drop is to not fold your small blind, is to chop all your small blinds and big blinds and not give the house any edge. Just to agree to that at the beginning of the game.
Chop.
All right.
Okay. So chop it.
That's your best thing to do in California. In Texas, you don't need to chop. And the reason is Texas are timed games and California are dropped games. All right. You're absolutely right. Just so you know, this Queen 6 here has a sliver of raising. It's fine if you don't learn it, but it does exist. I expect this guy not to find it. I expect this guy with a King Deuce or the King 4. I expect one of these guys to limp. Let's see what happens. Nope. Great. Everything good happened. All right. Next hand. Next hand is me. Queen 8 suited should fold. Jack 9 should fold. Ace 8 should raise. King 4 should fold. 10-10 should 3-bet, and I should get out. And what happens is, fold, there's your limp. You don't get up to a 61 VPIP without limping stuff like Jack 9 offsuit, people. That's what you expect their range to have. All right. This guy should attack this for 4.5. I expect him to limp behind. Nope, he does 3.5. Good for him. This guy should fold. And the tens should still 3-bet, even against that range, I think. And their raise size should be 2. Let's go to 10.5, 11.5, 12.5. 20. Okay. That's fine. And they should go fold, fold, fold. The ace-8 should not call the 20. Is he going to? I don't think so. I think he's going to fold it. Nope. He's going to jam. Is he the one who had the queen? No, he's on tilt from the 6s, maybe. Maybe that's why he did this. We don't know. But here he went. That's it. He jammed. There is no chance this guy is folding 10s here. Should he?
He's getting 3-1, right? On his call.
Yeah, more than 3-1. He has to
Easy
call.
call then, right?
He has to call 60. Oh no, not 3-1. No, it's not 3-1. It's no, 3-2-1. Yeah. Yeah. He's got to call 60 and the pot's gonna be 140 when he's done.
Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, he's not folding anyway. I mean, we know that he doesn't fold here. Okay. And now he's got chips. All right. Mike, you're up if you're still here.
All right, we got, should be an easy one, should be a walk for the big blind.
Right. But what is going to happen?
I mean, 10-5 could limp, 9-5 could limp. I mean, it could be anyway. Let's see what we get.
9-5 is going to raise.
Okay, well, let's see it.
This is what winner's tilt looks like. No, I'm so wrong. I suck. Oh, I'm so wrong. All right. There's a walk. You're right. All right. Larry.
Okay, so folds around to eights, RFIs. Villain 3, our hero, our anti-hero, villain 3 should raise. We should fold around to him and raise. King Queen
Note the
is
size.
yeah, so this I have not noticed his size. Is this a bigger size?
Yep. He's been doing 2 big blinds and 3 big blinds and 3.5. We don't yet know what his hands are that he's doing it, but we've been seeing him do it.
We know that he's got some kind of strategy around RFI size.
Now we know that his 2s are his 2s are his bullshits and his 3.5s are real. Now we know that.
We
know that in game.
Has he been three? So we don't know what his fold to 3-bet is, and it wouldn't matter because it's not a big enough sample.
Him?
So
Never folds to 3-bets.
sorry,
The 8s never fold to 3-bets. We have a big enough sample to that.
yeah, but I'm thinking about what King Queen is considering.
Right.
He'll folds King Queen here. I would 3-bet because I would see his VPEP.
Right.
I
Good.
probably would not be aware enough of his winner's tilt.
Right.
Frankly, this is too small. I would go to, let me see, 14. I would go about 14, yeah, 13.
This is too small, and it's especially too small against him because we know he calls everything. So if we think we're ahead of his range, make him pay for it.
Yes, yeah. So this is too small. He's gonna call. Okay, so villain 4 has. We don't know if any of these guys playing these cards. We don't know what their awareness level is. Villain 4, I think I would bet this at a high clip. We have no equity, practically. And however, this range has some good qualities for us. It's going to miss a lot of his 3-bet calling range. He certainly has 5s and 7s. He does have suited aces that he blocks. It's nice blocking ace queen suited, ace king suited. Doesn't matter. Theoretically. So I would see that here. I would see that B50 or B33. Scotty, did we lose you? I think we lost Scotty. Yes, we did. He's on mute. All right, no worries. We'll wait. Take your time, man. No worries. Okay, goes check, check. At this point, so in Hungry Horse Land, the 1-3 is now capped AF. And in Hungry Horse Land, we now are gonna pile. And we are going to be 75 to pot, especially with turned equity. I'm trying to get the brass balls to do just that. I would be 75 here. I don't know if I have the brass balls to go. Yeah, so this is a good player. He's now identified a capped range, and so he's B75. Villain 3, we don't know. He should fold, but he's not. He's a very special human. And he folds. If he is human. He might be Debo.
There we go. Hello, everybody. I am back. So that's what, so somebody finally got something over on villain 3. All right, next hand is going to be Isaac.
Okay, it's ready. All right. I'll get king, queen, cut off, hijack, low jack. I think king, queen might open.
Good.
Ace 9. I think should 3-bet,
That's a fine 3-bet there.
and jack 6 should fold. King 8, I think should fold to 3-bet. It should fold all the way back to the king, queen off, and king, queen off should fold.
Yep. That makes sense. I expect the ace 9 is actually gonna call
It-
and not 3-bet, but the 3-bet is better, but I expect him to call. He does. Now with that call, what should queen 8 do? What should king 8 do now?
Oh, because he called. So maybe since ace 9 only called, then maybe king 8 should stay in and call, and queen 7 should fold, and 10-5 should fold, and king queen is already in there.
Yep.
Maybe, I don't know. That's just what I would
So
assume.
I think king 8 should look at it and go, should I call? And say no. Then he should say, should I squeeze? And then he should go, this guy never folds to a squeeze. Is king 8 good enough to want to take him post flop? The answer is no. He should think and go, I really need king jack here.
Right.
Maybe king 10, and then he should fold. I think that's what his thinking should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I'm
And-
messing up.
Yeah.
I tend to call more on the button as long as there's no 3-bets in between, but maybe that's where I'm messing up.
In the
Especially
world
if I had like some sort of connectors.
Yeah.
Or like diamond draws.
Yeah, so let's see. This is to a 3 big blind open, so that changes things. So we want to be even tighter. We want to be tighter and more aggressive against 3. So there's the raise from 3. Okay. There's your call. And now this is what your GTO button range looks like. Pretty goddamn tight. And I do not see.
Because the cutoff.
Yep. Yeah. And I don't see a good reason to vary particularly from this GTO strategy here. This makes sense to me based on how other people play and stuff. Give me 1 second to check one thing.
Okay, what if the hijack didn't call? What if they folded with?
He's gonna be back soon.
I'm back. So what I'm going to do is, Larry, I'm going to give you control of hitting buttons on this.
Okay.
And I'm back in 3 minutes so you can finish the hand.
Okay,
Let me
I'm
see.
looking to all of a sudden be able to control your screen.
Yes, and the way we do that is we go to,
Oh,
here we go. I got it. Remote control. Give mouse control to Larry. Larry, you can now click around my thing. Good. And so with that, as you look here, look at how all those ace five and king eight things, those are all bluffs. Those are not calls. So ace five is not good enough to call. You're bluffing there. You're raising, you're raising the really good hands. Aces, kings, queens, king, queen suited there. And then the smattering of calls are like ace queen suited level, not even ace 10 suited. That's how tight you need to be. All right. Have fun. I'll be back in a second.
All right, so let's go back to
Okay.
this hand history. I was kind of working on something else on my own, so I'm not sure where we're talking about, where you want to go. So, okay, so you got a flat, you got RFI, you got a flat. If you are villain 4 with king 8 suited unbuttoned, what is your choice? I'm sorry.
well, I said to call because ace 9 didn't 3-bet. They just called, so I was just gonna call with the king 8. But then Scotty said that king 8 has to be, or that you have to have a really tight range on the button versus the opening and the calling range
Yes, this is a
from villain
fold,
2
I
and
think.
3.
This is a fold, because you're suited, you have position, but you just don't have enough here. I think this is a fold.
Okay, what if ace 9? What if ace 9 didn't call? What if they folded? What do you think about king 8? You think that's still a fold?
I think it's a better 3-bet than a fold then.
Yeah, maybe we could see where our calls are coming from mostly. I'm assuming it's gonna be a lot of ace X suited. And
I
of course
typically call more
pairs.
suited connectors and stuff on the button, but maybe that's where I'm messing up.
So we've got a
Yeah.
little sliver. I mean, so you can put these hands in classes, I think is the good way to look at this, and also couple this with the fact that you guarantee position. So we're doing a lot of set mining here. Here are your suited connectors. This is
Okay.
so Isaac, you're playing in a highly
Okay.
raked game. If they're taking if they're taking a $7 drop, do they take a $7 drop if it does not go to flop? Do they take rake if it?
It always goes to flop. I don't know. It's weird.
So sometimes
It's weird.
someone.
Like it's a five.
Go ahead, man.
I'm listening.
No, I interrupted you. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, it's a. Oh, they put $5 on the button. They don't do a small blind or a big blind. They just do $5 on the button, and most those guys love to see the flop there. So I don't ever really see the pot being lower than $20. So I try to steal the blinds a lot, which doesn't happen. Like I'll raise big, like $65. Try to steal like 4-player limps, and I can't. That's not even enough to get them off their hands sometimes.
Okay.
Well, that's
So I
great.
think,
So.
Scott,
So-
are you back?
I'm back. I was just going to say, that's a great situation. Then unlike
it?
what he taught, yeah, because unlike what we talk about here, going how you should play against a GTO player, which is not these guys, they've given you the perfect exploit.
Okay.
When they limp, you can limp behind with suited aces, suited connectors, and small pairs, and try to hit massive hands and only play forward when you get massive hands. Don't play forward when you just hit an ace. If you have ace 4 suited and you hit an ace,
Okay.
ace is not good unless it just gets checked to the river. You just fold it. You're playing for the flush.
Do you think I should squeeze? Do you think I should squeeze a lot on
No.
those games, like with
No,
ace
because-
8 offsuit stuff when
No,
everybody limps to
absolutely.
me?
Absolutely not. And here's why. You've said that they don't fold to squeezes. They don't fold to raises unless they're huge. But that's a fabulous thing for you because you just wait for the hands that you wait for aces, kings, ace king suited, probably ace king offsuit, queens, maybe jacks like that. And then you raise massive and they don't fold. So and even those pots, you're going to lose a lot of the time because they're going to be multi-way, but they're going to be in hand after hand after hand with king jack offsuit and jack 10 offsuit and 9-6 suited.
Queen
And
9 off.
you're not going to be in any of those
Yeah.
hands. You're going to be folding all the time. You're going to play very few
Right.
hands. When you come in, you're going to come in with suited aces, suited connectors, small pairs, and big pairs, and ace king. When you have your big pairs and your ace king, you're
Okay.
going to raise massive. They are all going to call you. You're going to lose some of those pots, but they will have put in way more money. And when you win those pots, they will be giant. Then the other hands that you put in one big blind on, you're only going to play forward when you have the massive hand, the hand that beats pocket aces.
Okay.
And then you're going to take all the money. And the reason
Yeah,
you're
they're
gonna
calling
win that-
stations. They'll call you down.
exactly. And this is the easiest poker to play in the world. The reason you're going to win all their money, but it's
Okay.
going to take time. Okay. And when you have aces, you're not going to win all those pots. You're going to lose more pots with aces than you do in a normal game because you're going to be playing against more players. Okay. But the reason you're going to win all the
Mhm.
money is they're going to be losing one big blind every hand that they don't care about. That's just a tip. They're not paying attention to it. That they're going to be grinding all that money
Mhm.
out. And then they're going to win, they're going to hit their sets the same amount of time as you do. They're going to hit their flushes the same amount of time as you do. But you're only going to be in the hands that you have a way to win the whole pot. You're not going to be losing that little bit of money, and they are, and all that money is going to go to you eventually. The important words here are eventually.
Okay. Okay.
But all the things we're saying is like,
I know
when
this
they
is
don't
totally
fold-
irrelevant.
Yeah, you were saying?
Sorry, I cut out a little bit.
Okay.
What did you say?
I said,
Oh, I know this is a little bit totally irrelevant, but like I needed to talk to somebody. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I was just saying, when they don't fold to squeezes, when they don't fold to raises, and they don't fold to three bets, that tells you don't have any three bet squeeze, any three
Okay.
bet bluffs. Don't have any three squeeze bluffs. Only have value. And by value, I mean value.
No bluff.
Yeah, no bluffs. They never fold. If they never fold, you never bluff.
Okay.
And never bluffing is easy.
Like, is ace queen considered value? Ace queen? Right.
That depends on their ranges. Take a look and see in all the hands you're not in, because you're not going to be in a lot of hands, and watch everything that's shown down. Are they limping their ace kings because they think it's a drawing hand? If they're limping ace king in that thing, ace queen's probably not a strong value hand. Ace queen off. And ace 10 off
Okay.
is garbage. And ace jack off is probably garbage in this game. And there's a bunch of hands that you would have
Okay.
won.
So I should just play with aces, kings, and queens.
And every pair and every suited connector and every suited ace when it's limped. You join in the limp party with the hands that make
Just limp them.
and when you don't make the nuts, you don't go forward. I'm exaggerating here. When you don't hit your set, you don't go forward.
Okay.
And then you blast it with your
Okay. Maybe
best.
that's where I'm messing up because I'm.
Yeah, ace jack is not your best
Okay.
hand. Blast it with your best hands. Now, when you do this, this means that there'll be a bunch of hands. You'll have a bunch of ace jack offsuit that you didn't play. And that and somebody at that table is going to win with an ace 8 or a king 10. And you'll go, I would have won that hand. You don't care. You're going to be sitting out a bunch of hands that you would have won.
Should I fold ace jack? Yeah.
It depends on, it depends
Should
on
I, should I limp ace jack or fold it?
you don't open limp at all. Don't make the maybe that's not true. Maybe you
Okay.
go so far as to open limp your sixes if that's how they play, but I still wouldn't do that.
I don't think we were
I don't
talking
think
about
you-
rate structure. His rate structure is $7 drop.
Oh,
There-
Jesus, no,
No,
don't
there's
limp
no
anything.
limping.
No limping anything for that. No open limping. You wait till they
What
make
if they
mistakes.
limp to me? What if
You-
they limp to me and I got ace jack? What do you think I should do? I'm on the button
How many people
and
limped?
it limps to me and I got ace jack.
How many people limped?
Huh?
How many people limped and what was the first
Let's say
position?
3 people limp to me. It's an 8-man table and
they
there's
don't
no
fold?
small blind or big blind.
And they don't fold to raises? I would fold ace jack.
Huh?
It sounds crazy. I would fold-
Like normally you'll get 1 or 2 people there'll be like 1 or 2 people that'll call you almost every day.
I
They'll
think
call you with like 3-8 offsuit.
I think I would fold ace jack. I think I would. Maybe that's too tight. Maybe that's crazy. I don't know if that's crazy. I wouldn't fold ace queen. I would blast ace
Yep.
queen. Against those ranges, I would blast ace queen. I don't know what I would do with ace jack, and I would fold ace 10. I don't know what I would do with ace jack
Okay.
there. It's a weird game. Okay, let's go back to this game.
It is a weird game.
And also,
All right.
there's one other thing you should do. This is also really important because you're going to be out of a lot of hands. You're going to be sitting out of a lot of hands with this strategy. Watch every hand that you're not in to confirm your assumptions. Make sure that what you're describing is really what's going on. Look at the hands that get shown down. See what is the best hand they limp. Are they limping ace king? Are they limping ace queen? Are they limping ace jack? That's really important to know. Are they, whatever their reason is, what's the best hand they limp? And how often do the raises get through? Because you say they never get through, but that could be just that your raises never get through because those are the ones you remember because they're frustrating. Take a look. Is it really true that they don't fold to raise?
Yeah.
And what size do they fold to? Because if they fold to 9x raises, you can construct an intelligent 9x raising range. It's not going to be the GTO range, but there will
Okay.
be an intelligent 9x raising range, and it will have some bluffs in it maybe if they really fold to it. And if they never fold, you just go, they never fold anything but jamming, then you never
Well,
bluff.
they don't fold to normal raise. Normally, my normal raise size is 3x the last bet, and then whatever's in the pot. So
Right.
that's
the
normally
normal-
what I
that's
raise.
normal size. But you don't have to do normal sizes. They're not playing GTO, and that thing of 3 times the previous bet plus all the other money in the pot is a GTO theory. If they don't play GTO,
Mhm.
your best play is against them, and you have to figure out what they're doing wrong. If they don't fold to a 10x raise, or let me make a super exaggeration. Imagine a game where they don't fold to jams.
Yeah.
They never fold to jams. You could sit there and just wait for aces, kings, queens, and ace king suited and jam it. Maybe ace king offsuit.
Right.
And just jam it. And that would be a profitable strategy in that game. If they never fold to jams, right?
Yeah, I'm sure I haven't jammed too much, like,
Right.
because I want to get called by
Right.
my better hands.
Right.
But
But I don't believe they play that way. I'm creating a toy game in your mind. In a game where people
right.
never fold, where they limp wide and never fold to jams. You jam aces, kings, queens, and ace king suited, and you make a profit in that game. And you don't need to play any other hand. In the toy game I just made up.
Right. Okay.
Your game is somewhere in between that toy game
Right.
and GTO. And you have to make an adjustment in between. So what I'm saying is, while you're at that game being bored because I'm telling you to play so many fewer hands than you're playing right now, start looking for what the real
Mhm.
lines are. How big do you have to go to fold? And then once you know what that number is, 8x, instead of 3x the last bet, you go 6x the last bet plus all the other money in the pot. That always gets folds, or mostly gets folds. And 5x never gets
Mm.
folds. So with your aces, kings, and queens, go 5x. With your ace king, go 7x.
Okay.
Ace king's a bluffing hand there.
Like someone will limp $5 and I'll bet $65 and then it'll get back to one dude in a call with like queen
Great.
9 offsuit and then hit a 9
Great.
and won't fold it.
Right, great. Did you have aces when you did it?
I had ace deuce offsuit
I don't want
and
you to do that.
I went all in on the river trying to get him to fold.
You're
Huh?
playing, you're choosing the wrong exploit against this guy. You're choosing TV exploits against TV players for people who don't play like people on TV. You're trying to do an exploit. You're trying to play Mark Goon's strategy of they will fold these middle pairs. And by the way, Mark Goons would not play this way at that table. I'm talking about the table he plays at and how he talks about what I can get them to fold. They don't fold anything. So why did you raise without aces, kings, or queens, or ace king? Those are the only hands I said to raise with in that exaggerated strategy. So start, if they don't fold,
Right.
bluff. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, if they fold everything except 2 pair and better, you bluff everything all the time. So depending on
Okay.
what their mistake is, your exploit gets extreme. All right. Larry, do you still have control of this?
Hey, can I make a correction on my statement?
Yeah. And I gotta answer the
So when I said that they never fold, I'm not talking about everybody at the table. I'm only talking about a select 1 or 2 players. I'm not talking about everybody.
Alright, I think we should probably move on. Okay, let's go to the next hand. I don't know, there's 4 of us left.
And I just realized, and it's time to go. So I'm gonna have to go. We will,
I think I'm done.
yeah, we will continue this excitement next Monday. Because it's time for me to do juggling with Silas. Have fun, everybody. Good to see you. Welcome, Isaac. It was great fun. Good to see you skate.
Scotty,
Thank
you're on
you.
a hard stop, right? Right
Yeah,
now?
unless if you guys want to go on, I'll leave the Zoom open, but,
No, I got a
think
question
everybody's
for you about angling, but we can do it another time.
oh, yeah, we'll do that first. Tomorrow, we'll do that.
Okay, thanks, man. I'll get on early tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, okay, or we're just, yeah, whatever. Okay.
Okay,
Bye, everybody. Much fun.
alright.
See you
Yeah.
tomorrow.
And
Thank you.
skate. Was there something you wanted to
Great
say?
skate.
Yeah, there is something I want to say, and it goes something like this. May the poker gods be with you all.
Woohoo!
Alright, guys, cheers.
See ya. Cheers.
Thank you.